Chapter 918. This is too amazing. _4. The first person to discover that Grandma Liu had gotten a television was the neighbor next to Grandma Liu's house, and word spread quickly, so everyone came to watch TV at Grandma Liu's home. Ni Yang had just returned to the Ni family courtyard when she saw Xiao Zhou standing at the doorway. Yang, you're back at last. I've been waiting for you for a long time, Xiao Zhou said, visibly excited upon seeing Ni Yang. Ni Yang smiled and said, I was just at Grandma Liu's place not far from here. If you were in such a rush, you could have come to find me. Or you could have just called out and I would have heard you. I didn't want to interrupt what you were doing, Xiao Zhou replied. Today, someone who looks a lot like Jiang Yan came to the detective agency to inquire about her whereabouts. Xiao Zhou knew that Jiang Yan was the chief culprit behind the poisoning of Chao Lingrui and the two elderly people from the Zheng family, so after Liu's mother had gone, he couldn't wait to come to Jinghua village to tell Ni Yang about it. Jiang Yan? You mean Dr. Jiang? Ni Yang narrowed her eyes slightly. Yes, Xiao Zhou nodded. Judging by her accent, she seemed to have come from Taiwan Island, and she doesn't know anything about Jiang Yan's situation yet. Taiwan Island again? Ni Yang frowned slightly. Again? What do you mean? Xiao Zhou asked, puzzled. I encountered an unreasonable miss today. Her accent also sounded like she's from Taiwan Island. Ni Yang continued to ask, by the way, how old did the person looking into Jiang Yan's case seem to be? Xiao Zhou thought for a moment, a wealthy lady in her 40s approximately. 40s? Ni Yang narrowed her eyes, that can't be the same person. Right, come inside, you're standing out here like a fool. Okay. Xiao Zhou continued, that was your grandfather and your sister, wasn't it? Right? Ni Yang nodded. Xiao Zhou said, your grandfather was too polite. Just now, he kept asking me to come in and sit, and he was about to go to Grandma Liu's house to find you, but I stopped him. He's a bit different from the way people describe him. According to the rumors, old Master Zheng was a stern, no-nonsense old man. Ni Yang laughed and said, rumors are just rumors after all. By the way, did you tell that person about the outcome of Dr. Jiang? Xiao Zhou shook his head. I felt that something was odd about this case, so I didn't tell her. I just took an 800 yuan deposit from her and told her to come to the detective agency tomorrow morning to find me. Ni Yang nodded slightly, pushed open the courtyard gate, and brought Xiao Zhou inside. As soon as Xiao Zhou stepped into the courtyard, he couldn't help but exclaim, your family's courtyard is really beautiful. Although it wasn't his first visit to Ni Yang's house, every time Xiao Zhou came over, he was always astounded. By the way, what are those flowers blooming on the wall? Roses? It was August and the wild roses were thriving on the walls. Among the tender green branches and leaves, bunches of bright red and pink blossoms formed a natural rose wall. It was so pretty it took one's breath away. They're wild roses, Ni Yang answered. Wild roses? Did you buy them at the flower and bird market? I should plant some in the detective agency's courtyard too, Xiao Zhou suggested. He rented the detective agency, which had a large backyard. When there was nothing much to do, the employees would sit in the yard to drink tea, chat, and take a break. No need to buy them. Wild roses are very hardy, there's a whole bunch of them growing on the back hill. How about we go dig up some wild roses and talk? Ni Yang proposed. Sure. Xiao Zhou nodded his head. Seeing Xiao Zhou agree, Ni Yang picked up a basket and a small hoe and led Xiao Zhou towards the back hill. As they walked and talked, they quickly arrived at the back hill. Ni Yang had already dug there last year, but the patch of wild roses was still flourishing. She deftly clipped off the wild rose vines, leaving only the roots. Seeing this, Xiao Zhou said worriedly, you've cut off all the vines, how will they survive now? Ni Yang smiled and replied, don't worry, wild roses are very easy to nurture. Although it looks like there's only a little bit of root left now, by next spring, it will sprout a large bunch. Really? Xiao Zhou was somewhat skeptical. Ni Yang nodded, of course it's true. Doesn't our rose wall at home look great? However, when we dig them up later, we need to be careful to preserve as much soil around the roots as possible. Got it? Xiao Zhou picked up the hoe and began to dig. In a short while, they had dug up a basket full of wild rose roots. Because they included clumps of soil, the basket was particularly heavy. Seeing Ni Yang about to lift the basket, Xiao Zhou hurried to stop her. Yang, let me do it. Chapter 919. This is too amazing. _5. You're going to carry it? Ni Yang glanced up and down at him. Can you handle it? Xiao Zhou, speechless, replied, if I can't handle it, do you think you can? After all, I am a man. And Ai Yang shrugged slightly, not wanting to crush his spirit. Then you try. Xiaozhou walked up to the carrying basket, slipped the straps over his shoulders, but no matter what, he couldn't straighten his back. Damn. It was way too heavy. Having been born into wealth and never having done manual labor, it was normal for Xiaozhou to struggle. And Ai Yang had expected this, which is why she had stepped in ahead of Xiaozhou, ready to take over the load. Clamping his teeth tightly, Xiaozu's face turned red, but he still couldn't lift the basket. Let me do it, and Ai Yang approached Xiaozhou, shading him from the sun. No need, Xiaozhou shook his head, I can do it. He was a man. He couldn't lose face in front of a girl. He could do it. Xiaozhou psyched himself up internally. And Ai Yang with a smile said, let me do it. We're all brothers here and I won't laugh at you. Xiaozhou, you're already laughing. If I can't carry it, do you think you can? Xiaozhou looked up at Ai Yang. And Ai Yang's expression remained the same, let me try and then well no. Xiaozhou stepped aside, curious to see whether Ai Yang really could carry it or not. Ai Yang squatted down, effortlessly lifted the basket and glanced back at Xiaozhou, let's go. Xiaozhou stood there stunned. Damn. That was incredible. If he hadn't tried it himself he would have thought the basket wasn't heavy at all. Yang, no brother Yang. Xiaozhou hurried after Ai Yang, brother Yang, you're amazing aren't you? Ai Yang raised an eyebrow slightly, your brother Yang has trained for this, of course it's amazing. Xiaozhou gestured with cupped hands, respect. Now I finally understand why there's an idiom called heroine in ancient times. If Ai Yang had lived in ancient times she surely would have been a female general. After coming down the mountain, Ai Yang arranged to meet up with Xiaozhou the next morning and visit the detective agency. She was quite curious to see who this person investigating Dr. Jiang Yan was, and to figure out what they were all about. The next morning just after 9, Ai Yang arrived at the detective agency. How is it going? Has the person arrived yet? Xiaozhou shook his head, not yet. As soon as he finished speaking Xiaozhou led Ai Yang to a room. Yang, just sit here later. Look, there's a trick here. If you move this painting you'll be able to see the opposite side but they can't see you. Alright, Ai Yang nodded in agreement. Shortly after a staff member came to call Xiaozhou. Xiaozhou rolled up his sleeves, he'll leave first then make yourself comfortable. Understood, Ai Yang nodded slightly. Because she was concerned about Dr. Jiang Yan's situation, Mrs. Liu arrived early. Hello Detective Zhou, how is the investigation into Dr. Jiang Yan going? Xiaozhou pointed to a stool opposite him. Please take a seat first, sit down and I'll explain everything to you slowly. All right. Mrs. Liu sat down across from him, removed her hat and asked eagerly, so, can you tell me now? Xiaozhou sighed deeply, his face a picture of solemnity. Please prepare yourself mentally first. A sense of dread filled Mrs. Liu. Did something happen to Dr. Jiang? Xiaozhou poured a cup of tea and handed it to Mrs. Liu. Erase the thing? He roughly explained the situation regarding Dr. Jiang Yan to Mrs. Liu. Upon hearing this Mrs. Liu felt her blood run cold, her face turned ashen, and with a strained smile she asked, You're joking with me, right? Xiaozhou sighed again. Why would I joke about something like this? I'm very sorry but this is true. If you don't believe me you can go to the Public Security Bureau to ask. In fact, Dr. Jiang Yan got what she deserved. You don't know how terribly she and Jiang Xiamen hurt the Zheng family. Chao Lingrui didn't even get a proper burial. This sudden shock left Mrs. Liu unsure how to react. After a long moment she continued, When did this happen? Xiaozhou continued, A month ago. A month ago. They had just arrived in Beijing a month ago. If they had come earlier, if she had found Dr. Jiang Yan sooner, could this have been avoided? Mrs. Liu's changing expressions were all witnessed by Ai Yang. Indeed, as Xiaozhou had said, this lady resembled Dr. Jiang Yan, especially the eyes, they were exactly the same. Chapter 920, This is too awesome. _6. Who is this person? Another daughter of Dr. Jiang? But Dr. Jiang seems to only have one daughter. Dr. Jiang used to live in M country, and this person has a Bay Island accent. The locations don't match. Who is she? After learning the outcome about Dr. Jiang, Liu's mother left distraught. After Liu's mother had left, Ai Yang came out from behind the house. Xiaozhou, what's this person's name? Xiaozhou shook his head. I don't know her name either, but she came to investigate Dr. Jiang. She must be related to Dr. Jiang. She looks so much like Dr. Jiang. Could she be Dr. Jiang's illegitimate daughter? I don't think so. Ai Yang narrowed his eyes and continued, Is Dr. Jiang's background easy to check? Xiaozhou smiled, took out a stack of documents. I knew you'd ask this. So, when I came back last night, I sorted out some documents on Dr. Jiang. And Yang took the documents and read through them meticulously. She discovered that Dr. Jiang was the eldest at home with a younger brother and sister. The brother, Jiang Daji, is 58 this year, has one son and one daughter, and lives in Beijing now. There's also a sister, Jiang Ji, but she drowned in the sea at the age of 19, and her household registration had been cancelled for many years. The most suspicious person now was this Jiang Ji. Could Jiang Ji still be alive? And Yang slightly squinted, placing the documents on the table. Xiaozhou, do you think that person just now could be Jiang Ji? Jiang Ji. Xiaozhou seemed stunned, then said, but hasn't Jiang Ji been dead for 35 years? Could it be a staged death? And Yang said, staged death. Xiaozhou frowned, then said, why would a perfectly good person stage her own death? Maybe it was because she committed a crime? Xiaozhou continued, but staging your own death isn't easy, right? And Yang lightly tapped the table with her index finger. I always feel this person is not simple. Elsewhere. As Liu's mother walked on the bustling streets of Beijing, her heart felt desolate. She couldn't believe that in just a month, everything had changed so drastically. How could this be? Liu's mother walked up to the mansion where the Liu family lived, then put away her somber expression and pretended to be nonchalant as she entered the house. Mom, where have you been? Lu Ru came out from the house just then. Liu's mother responded with a smile. I felt suffocated in the mansion, so I went out for a walk to familiarize myself with Beijing. Oh, Lu Ru nodded. And, is there any news from Aunt? Liu's mother asked. Lu Ru shook his head. Dad has already sent someone to check, but there's no news yet. Oh. Lu Ru added, Mom, you seem off. Are you feeling okay? No. Is Wentong feeling unwell? Should I get the doctor to come and check on you? Liu's father came out from the study room upon hearing Lu Ru's words, appearing very concerned. Speaking of Liu's mother, Jiu Wentong, she was a fortunate woman. Having married the nearly 50-year-old Liu's father at 22, she had always been cherished. After so many years, she was still held dear by Liu's father. Fine. Probably just not used to the climate in Beijing, said Liu's mother. Liu's father nodded. Indeed, the climate here in Beijing is not as good as back home. Wentong, don't worry, once we are done here, we'll go back to Bay Island immediately. Okay, Liu's mother said, then added, I'll go upstairs to rest for a bit. With that, she walked upstairs. Lu Ru quickly asked, Dad, did you find out any news about Aunt? Liu's father shook his head. It's not that quick. If it takes any longer, all the good stuff will be taken by others. Lu Ru sighed, then said, we had an agreement earlier, you must give me that bracelet when the time comes. When have I ever lied to you? That's reassuring. Lu Ru continued, when I run into that savage girl again, I'll definitely teach her a lesson. What if she's a relative from Aunt's family? Liu's father asked. Lu Ru sighed reluctantly, then forget it. For Aunt's sake, I'll forgive her once, but she really is too savage, too ill-mannered. If she really is a relative from Aunt's family, then Aunt's family really lacks manners. Is she really that savage? Lu Qi walked in from outside. Lu Ru nodded, very savage. Very ill-mannered. That kind of wild girl couldn't get married if she were in our area. More than you. Lu Qi joked. Are you even my brother? Lu Ru immediately complained to Liu's father, Dad. Look, he's bullying me. Right then Liu's father chastised Lu Qi. Lu Qi, you are her older brother. How can you bully Xiaoru like that? Don't do this again. Lu Qi retorted speechlessly, Dad, just indulge her. Sooner or later you'll regret it. Lu Ru rolled her eyes at Lu Qi. An I family. Tonight, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi also came back. The whole family gathered in the dining room for dinner, the atmosphere very lively. Shangguan Shi asked, Yang, when will your college entrance exam results be out? In the 80s, without the developments of later years, it would take about 20 days after the college entrance exam to get the results. It's already August 10th and the results still aren't out. But fortunately, since the exams were held in July, the school term also starts later. And Yang lightly shook her head, not yet. I heard our teachers say that around the 17th or 18th, we might be able to get the results at school. Shangguan Shi smiled, it's already the 10th today, so soon. By the way, Yang, how do you feel you did? And Yang took a river snail, it should be okay. Zheng Leo Yizi smiled, it's okay even if you didn't do well, you can always retake the exam next year. Since Yang seldom attended school, Her family was quite worried about her college entrance exam results. Although the Ni family was not short of money, attending university was still very important. This is because university life not only broadens knowledge but also insights and experiences, and it helps expand social connections. At any time, development cannot be separated from social connections. Ni Yang said, "Retaking the exam won't be necessary. I think I did well enough for a first-tier university." "What did you say?" Zheng Laoyizi was so shocked, his chopsticks dropped on the table. First-tier university? In that era, getting into an ordinary university was considered good. Getting into a first-tier university was beyond impressive. Previously, even Zheng Xianjing, who was quite talented, ended up in a second-tier university. Ni Yang nodded. Zheng Laoyizi continued, Yang, if you get into a first-tier university, grandfather will go and bring back a truck of firecrackers and set them off for a whole day and night." Chapter 921, Science Top Scholar. Crushing Scum in Progress. A truckload of firecrackers? Ni Yang said with a smile, "Grandpa, you're really exaggerating, aren't you?" Old Master Zheng laughed, "Not at all, not one bit exaggerated. I didn't do well when I took the college entrance exam." Thinking back on those days, Old Master Zheng still felt some regret. After dinner, Old Master Zheng took little Ni Yun to clear the land. Old Lady Zheng and Old Lady Shangguan chatted in the yard, and if they found the conversation dull, they'd go together to visit Grandma Lu. Shangguan Dehui went off to work at the school. As for Ni Tsuehua, she kept herself busy with her own business. Though a lot had happened, Ni Tsuehua never gave up on her spicy strip business. She had now earned 50,000 yuan from selling the spicy strips. 50,000 yuan might not be much to the Zheng family or the Shangguan family, but to ordinary people, it was a considerable fortune. With this 50,000 yuan, Ni Tsuehua planned to start her own food factory and expand her business further. She had no desire to be a full-time housewife. Right then, Ni Tsuehua was carrying her documents to the bureau to apply for a health permit, eager to get the factory business settled as soon as possible. Time flew by quickly. Before they knew it, the day to check exam results had arrived. Both Ni Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui thought of Ni Yang going to the school to check her results. Ni Yang felt that checking results was a simple matter, and there was no need to make a fuss. The classroom was only so big, if every parent went along, there simply wouldn't be room to stand. It was not appropriate to wear a cheongsam to school, so Ni Yang chose a white mandarin collar blouse cinched at the waist, black wide-leg pants, white sneakers, casually pulled her long hair into a bun, hopped on her bicycle and set off. In this era, parents took their children's academic performance very seriously, so there were quite a few parents accompanying their children to check their results today, but they were all waiting outside the school gate. Yang. Han Xiaoyu had been waiting at the school entrance for a long time and was particularly excited to see Ni Yang. Xiaoyu. Ni Yang jogged over. Yang, your outfit is really pretty, even prettier than a cheongsam. Han Xiaoyu took Ni Yang's hand and looked her over from top to bottom, left to right. Ni Yang smiled, I just picked it up casually. By the way, has the cutoff score been released? Han Xiaoyu nodded, the cutoff scores are out. The first-tier university's cutoff is 588, second tier is 525, third tier is 460, and the college cutoff is 355. And the key 211 and 985 universities start at 600 points. Oh, I heard our school has a runner-up in the science stream. Really? Ni Yang raised her eyebrows slightly, which class? Han Xiaoyu nodded, really it's someone from class 4 I think. There's a huge banner hung up near class 4's building. They say he scored over 600. Han Xiaoyu was disappointed as she talked about it. She had assumed that with Ni Yang's strong performance, she should have at least become the valedictorian or something. But surprisingly, there was not even the slightest buzz about her. Instead, someone from class 4 emerged as the runner-up. It was very strange. The two walked on hand in hand. Just then, a boy wearing the school uniform approached them. Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked up slightly. Li Wei? Li Wei nodded. Ni Yang, have you checked your results? Ni Yang shook her head lightly. Not yet. Li Wei wore a small red flower on his chest, his face unable to hide his excitement. I scored 608 this time, and our class teacher notified me a day in advance. Has your class teacher not told you your results yet? You're the runner-up? Ni Yang asked. Li Wei nodded excitedly, yes. Indeed, choosing to retake a year was the right decision. Last year he only scored over 500, But this year he scored over 600, becoming the city's runner-up. From Ni Yang's expression, he could tell that she hadn't done as well as him. Because teachers would generally notify students who did well in advance. Li Wei had never felt such a sense of superiority in front of Ni Yang as he did at that moment. He was the city's runner-up after all. No matter how calm Ni Yang appeared, he thought she must be admiring him to death inside. Congratulations, Ni Yang's expression remained unchanged. Li Wei continued, Ni Yang, if you didn't do well, don't be discouraged. It's quite an achievement for a girl to get into a college. With your grades, getting into a college should be no problem. Amichim, Ni Yang nodded. Just as Li Wei was about to say more, Chen Jinfeng ran over from the side. Xiao Wei, what are you doing chatting with her here for? There's a bunch of journalists waiting outside the school to interview you. Chapter 922, Science Top Scholar. Crushing the Scum in Progress. _2. Chen Jinfeng was like a proud peacock, acting as if nobody was good enough to match her son. Her son was the second highest scorer. If this were ancient times, he could have climbed straight up the ranks to a high official position. What about Ni Yang? Ni Yang was just a country bumpkin. A worthless private entrepreneur. Did she think she could aspire to her son's level? She was utterly lacking in self-awareness. Li Dongliang said to Li Wei as he pulled him along, let's go, let's go. Son, we must hurry. We don't want the journalists to get anxious. This was Li Dongliang's first time being on television in all his years. Though it was his son who scored second, he, as the father, basked in the reflected glory. Li Wei looked back at Ni Yang. Ni Yang, it'll be going ahead then, don't be too sad. After all, grades don't represent everything. Let's go, Chen Jinfeng urged as she walked away. Son, why waste words on her? You're not even from the same world as her. Han Xiaoyu looked back at the Li family of 3 and curiously asked, Yang, you know that second highest scorer? Ni Yang nodded without hiding anything. I met him back when I was running a noodle stall. Han Xiaoyu exclaimed, that's incredible. He even managed to become the top scorer in the entire city. At that time, earning the second highest score was an immense honor. It signified a bright future ahead. They walked and chatted until they reached the classroom in no time. There were already lots of people in the classroom, waiting just for the homeroom teacher to announce the results. Ni Yang's arrival once again caused a sensation. The looks from everyone were mixed. There was admiration, but also mockery, schadenfreude, and other complicated expressions all intertwined. You see, Ni Yang used to often rank first in the entire school, but now the second highest score had been snagged by someone from class 4. That was a bit strange. Before this, everyone thought that Ni Yang would at least rank within the top 3. But now that the results were out, she didn't even make a splash. I think her high scores in the previous exams were all cheated. I agree. TSK, what a shameless act. I really thought she was something. Turns out it was all copied. Among them, Zhou Xuemei was the happiest. She had despised Ni Yang since the day of the transfer student exam. Ni Yang was not only pretty but also had great grades. As soon as she arrived at city number 3 high, she was nicknamed the school beauty. At that time, Zhou Xuemei had found it strange. How could there be such a perfect person in this world? Pretty and smart? Normally, pretty people aren't very bright. So, it was all cheating. Zhou Xuemei looked at Ni Yang and said sarcastically, Tiske, you still have the nerve to come to school to check your scores? If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to show up. Ni Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Why should I feel ashamed to come here? Zhou Xuemei had suffered at Ni Yang's hands before and didn't dare to be too aggressive, tauntingly saying, Ni Yang, you used to often rank first in the whole school, didn't you? Why so quiet this time? Not only did you not score high, but Brother Away also got the second highest score. I remember every time your grades were way above Brother Away's. Zhou Xuemei. What do you mean by that? Han Xiaoyu stood up and looked at Zhou Xuemei. Means she cheated, can't you understand? Zhou Xuemei stood with hands on hips. Don't talk nonsense. Yang would never cheat. Han Xiaoyu was furious. She had great faith in Ni Yang's character and knew Ni Yang would never cheat. Perhaps this time it was just a fluke on Ni Yang's part. It's normal to mess up under the intense atmosphere of the examination room. Zhou Xuemei retorted, if there was no cheating, then how come she didn't get the scores during the college entrance exam? Always first place during regular tests, but exposed during the college entrance exam. She still has the nerve to say she didn't cheat. What a shameless claim. It's easy to cheat during regular tests, But the college entrance exam was so strict that there was no possibility of cheating, which is why Ni Yang didn't achieve a high score. With these words, the classmates around nodded in agreement, finding Zhou Zuimai's words reasonable. Right, Zhou Xuemei is right, and Ni Yang definitely cheated. I was wondering how she always managed such good grades, always coming first. It turns out she cheated her way to the top. Han Xiaoyu, less articulate than Zhou Xuemei, was beside herself with anger and didn't know what to say. She pointed at Zhou Xuemei and stammered, You, what are you talking about? Chapter 923, Science Top Scholar. Crushing the Scum in Progress. _3. Let it go, Xiaoyu, why even bother talking to such people? Ni Yang said with a smile as she pulled Han Xiaoyu back to her seat. Seeing Ni Yang react this way only made Zhou Xuemei even more arrogant. Look how guilty you are. That's just disgusting. To think you plagiarized. You've totally disgraced our school and our class. Cheater. Ni Yang could keep her composure, but Han Xiaoyu could not. Yang. Look at them. Look at that Zhou Xuemei. How could she falsely accuse you like this? Yang, why aren't you angry at all? Ni Yang was very calm and smiled. The innocent have nothing to be angry about. Don't be mad either, Xiaoyu. Oh, I brought you some snacks. In situations like this, the best response is to keep silent. Han Xiaoyu was a real food lover. Upon hearing about food, her eyes lit up. What kind of snack? Ni Yang took out a cup of New York milk tea and a box of glutinous rice dumplings from her backpack and handed them to Han Xiaoyu. Yang, I love you so much. Han Xiaoyu hugged Ni Yang excitedly. Han Xiaoyu loved New York milk tea and their sweets, but there was always a long queue for New York milk tea, and some of the items were limited editions, not always available even if you had the money. Ni Yang had her ways, always managing to get them. He'll pay you. Han Xiaoyu pulled out 50 cents and handed it to Ni Yang. Ni Yang smiled and said, You always insist on paying, but we are about to graduate. This treat is on me. Although Han Xiaoyu loved her food, she never took advantage of Ni Yang. Even if Ni Yang refused to take money, she insisted on giving it to her. Teacher's office. It wasn't just the students of Class 5 who were taken by surprise, but also the homeroom teachers of various classes. Everyone thought Ni Yang would surely be in the top 3. Unexpectedly, the second top spot went to someone from the neighboring Class 4. Ni Yang didn't make even a splash. Such a disappointment. Coincidentally, Zhang Chang taught Class 4. He walked up to Teacher Su, all smiles. Teacher Su, hasn't the admissions office called you yet? With Ni Yang's marks, she should at least be the city's top scholar, right? That last remark was clearly meant to be sarcastic. If a school had a student scoring in the top 3, the city admissions office would notify them in advance. Journalists would also arrange to come for interviews in advance. That's why everyone else didn't know their scores yet, but Li Wei had already been informed he was the second top scorer. Before Ni Yang was assigned to his class, Zhang Chang was incredibly envious, especially seeing her score first in the whole school. Unexpectedly, she didn't have what it takes. Her past achievements were clearly plagiarized. Such people reveal their true colors come examination time. Everyone thought Ni Yang was a dragon, but it turned out she was just a pool of pus. How disappointed Zhang Chang had been before, he was now equally triumphant. Second top in the city? A student taught by him. Fortunately, Ni Yang wasn't moved directly to his class back then, or he would have been the laughingstock now. Zhang Chang patted Teacher Su on the shoulder. Teacher Su, don't be too upset. Such rankings are not that important. Not every student can score high. It's already quite an achievement for our school to have Li Wei from our class as the second top scorer. As he finished speaking, Zhang Chang looked toward the principal and continued, Principal, the journalists are waiting at the door to interview me. I'll head over there first. You should come soon too, they'll definitely want to interview the school's principal. All right, the principal nodded. Actually, the principal was also very disappointed with Ni Yang. He had thought that Ni Yang would definitely clinch the city's top scholar spot. He had even bragged to the principals of the neighboring number 1 and number 2 schools, claiming that this year's city top scholar would undoubtedly be from their school, only to be blindsided by Ni Yang's performance. Fortunately, the city's second top scholar was still from their school. Otherwise, it would have been a complete disgrace. On reflecting upon this, the principal felt a bit better. He sighed and said, Teacher Su, what's going on with Ni Yang? Her previous performance wasn't really plagiarized, was it? It's true what they say, the greater the expectations, the greater the disappointment. Previously, Ni Yang had done so well, Every teacher used her as a model for their classes, her name always on their lips, even her essays used as examples. Now, everyone wished they could go back and tell their past selves off. Isn't this presenting students with a negative example? Chapter 924, Science Top Scholar. Crushing the Scum in Progress. _4. Teacher Su pushed up his glasses. No, I believe our Ni Yang wouldn't plagiarize. As a teacher, Mr. Su had great faith in Ni Yang's character. He believed she wouldn't plagiarize. With Ni Yang's character, she wouldn't even dignify that by stooping to do such a thing. The principal sighed again, but the fact that Ni Yang didn't achieve the results is true. Just like Teacher Zhang said, given Ni Yang's previous mock test scores, she should have at least secured the top position in the city. If not that, at least she should have been among the top 3, right? You know, her previous results were much better than those of Li Wei. Now that Ni Yang didn't achieve the scores, how could everyone trust her? Teacher Su pushed his glasses up again. He'll call the city admissions office and ask. Zhang Chang shook his head. Teacher Su, you should face reality. I think Ni Yang has been academically dishonest. That's why she resorted to these stealthy tactics. Teacher Su was very angry. But he couldn't refute without evidence. His rebuttals had no grounding. Just as he was about to make a call, the phone on the desk rang. Hello, good day. Teacher Su answered the phone. It was not clear what was said on the other end, but Teacher Zu's expression gradually hardened, and after a long pause he finally said, What did you say? The person on the other line repeated the words. Really? The top scorer in the city's exam is really our Ni Yang. Teacher Su jumped up excitedly. Even though he was in his 50s, he was as joyful as a child at that moment. Comrade, are you sure there's no mistake? This is City High School number 3. I am Su Lei, the homeroom teacher of senior year class 5, he said, holding the handset in one hand and picking up a piece of paper with the other hand, continuing, Our Ni Yang's examination registration number is 340823. Yes, Teacher Su, this year's science subject top scorer in the exams is your student Ni Yang, who achieved a high score of 648 points. Moreover, she is also the national top scorer. Congratulations. Teacher Su was almost floating. 648 points. You must know the total possible score was only 650. What did Ni Yang eat to grow up with? How could she be so brilliant? Thank you. Thank you, comrade. I'll treat you to a meal sometime, Teacher Su, overwhelmed with excitement, blurted out. Just as he was about to hang up the phone, he suddenly thought of something. Right, comrade, wasn't the top scorer usually notified in advance? Why was it so late this time? They had thought that Ni Yang's previous results were false, so she didn't do well in the exams. The person on the other end explained, because Ni Yang's results were so exceptional, our admissions office had to review them several times. Initially, when the admissions office learned of Ni Yang's results, they even suspected that there might have been errors during the marking of the papers. Thus, they conducted several detailed checks and after confirming there were no issues, they finally dared to call Teacher Su. Teacher Su nodded, Oh, I see. Comrade, you really worked hard. As soon as Teacher Su hung up the phone, the principal, who couldn't wait any longer, grabbed Teacher Zu's arm and asked, Teacher Su, was that a call from the city admissions office? Teacher Su nodded. The principal continued, Ni Yang won the top position in the city? Teacher Su nodded again. The top position in the city? It was really the top position in the city? The principal thought he was hallucinating and asked several times over. Then the principal asked, Then why didn't the city admissions office notify us earlier? Teacher Su explained the process again and after hearing it, the principal was stunned. What? 648 points. Ni Yang scored 648 points. Yes. Teacher Su nodded, continuing, the comrade from the city admissions office also said that Ni Yang is not only the city's top scorer but also the national top scorer in science. Really? The principal was ecstatic. Really? Teacher Su was even happier than the principal. It felt like being vindicated after being falsely accused. Just 10 minutes earlier, so many people were doubting that Ni Yang's previous results were plagiarized, but in the blink of an eye, Ni Yang had won the city's top position. It felt incredibly satisfying. The principal continued, Teacher Su, I apologize. I wronged your student Ni Yang. She is truly amazing. Teacher Su pushed up his glasses. It's not much for me but Ni Yang might feel a bit wronged. Just a moment ago when I passed by the classroom, I saw many people accusing her of plagiarism. Chapter 925, Science Top Scholar. Crushing the Scum in Progress. _5. Upon hearing this, the principal's face showed a hint of guilt, and he apologized somewhat embarrassedly. I'm really sorry, Teacher Su, I shouldn't have doubted N.I. Yang. Rest assured, I will personally apologize to N.I. Yang. Teacher Su laughed and said, Principal, you are being too serious. Our class N.I. Yang is not the petty type. She probably didn't even take this matter to heart. Exactly. Our national topper definitely isn't petty. The principal excitedly patted Teacher Zu's shoulder. Teacher Su, you are truly amazing to have taught a national topper. Just then, when Teacher Zhao from Class 2 of senior year entered, he overheard this remark. National topper? He asked somewhat confused, has Beijing produced a national topper? From which school? The principal excitedly said, it's N.I. Yang from Teacher Zu's class. Truly, Teacher Su deserves great credit for teaching such a talent. National topper? Not to mention Third City Middle School, even Beijing hadn't produced a national topper in a long time. Is there some mistake? Teacher Zhao expressed doubt. Hadn't he heard that N.I. Yang's past achievements were plagiarized? How had she suddenly become a national topper? Also, weren't the top 3 ranks usually notified in advance? The principal arrogantly said, the city admissions office personally called, how could there be a mistake? Teacher Su knew about Teacher Zhao's doubts and explained the reasons to him. Teacher Zhao said enviously, Teacher Su, you are really incredible. Having taught a national topper, Teacher Zu's future is truly boundless. Before this, Teacher Zhao's most admired person was Zhang Chang, as Zhang Chang's class had a student who became city's second best. But now Teacher Su had actually taught a national topper. Could a city's second best compare to a national topper? Next to the national topper, the city's second best couldn't even be seen. Teacher Su humbly said, not at all, I just taught casually, the talented one is N.I. Yang from our class. Before long, everyone in the office knew about N.I. Yang being the national topper. Everyone gathered around Teacher Su, expressing admiration. Just a short while ago, people were doubting N.I. Yang's plagiarism and scoffing at Teacher Su, but now the tables had turned. It would be false to say they weren't pleased and proud. The honor of being a national topper was enough for Teacher Su to be proud for a lifetime. Teacher Su smiled and said, I won't talk much longer with you all. I'm off to announce the college entrance exam results to our class. N.I. Yang must be getting anxious. The principal quickly said, Go. Don't keep N.I. Yang waiting. Teacher Su entered the classroom. Everyone, quiet down, I'm about to announce the college entrance exam results. Hearing this, the classroom immediately fell silent. Teacher Su started reading out the scores one by one. Li Xiaoman 498 points. Han Xiaoyu 588 points. 588 points. Hearing this score, Han Xiaoyu was thrilled, hugging N.I. Yang tightly. Yang, pinch me, see if I'm dreaming. Although Han Xiaoyu's usual test scores were not low, the college entrance exam papers were very tough this time, and high scores were generally rare. This was why Li Wei, with a score of 608, managed to secure the second-best rank in science. 588 points had just touched a cutoff line. How could Han Xiaoyu not be thrilled? N.I. Yang smiled and pinched her cheek. Relax, you're not dreaming. Zhou Xuemei sat right behind them. Tsk. What's there to be proud of? Cheating dog. N.I. Yang didn't pay her any mind. On stage, Teacher Su continued announcing the scores. Zhou Xuemei 591 points. Zhou Xuemei scored 3 points higher than Han Xiaoyu. She was extremely proud, waving her score sheet in front of N.I. Yang and whispered, See? 591 points. Jealous, our school's number 1? Teacher Su intentionally left N.I. Yang's score for last, so it took a long time without mentioning N.I. Yang's score. So, everyone speculated whether N.I. Yang even reached the third-tier college admission score, which is why Teacher Su delayed announcing it. For a moment, the looks towards N.I. Yang became even more complex. After announcing everyone else's scores, Teacher Su tapped the ruler and then said, Next, the teacher has an important announcement. The class quieted down. Teacher Su swallowed, then continued, This time our class has produced a national topper. National topper? As these words were spoken, everyone's expressions varied. Chapter 926, Science Top Scholar. Crushing the Scum in Progress. _6. All the scores were reported, and their class didn't have a single person who scored over 600. Who could the national top scorer be? Could Teacher Su be dreaming? It was at this moment Han Xiaoyu suddenly realized that there was still one person whose score hadn't been announced. She turned her head to look at Yang. Yang. Could it be you are the national top scorer? Because the classroom was particularly quiet, Han Xiaoyu's voice seemed especially loud. Upon hearing this, Zhou Xuemei burst out laughing. Han Xiaoyu, are you dreaming? She could be the first in the nation? Everyone knows that high scorers get notified early. There's no way the runner-up from the class next door has appeared, and the top scorer of the city hasn't. Logically, the top scorer of the National College entrance examination should be notified even earlier. Following Zhou Xuemei's laughter, other students in the class also laughed along. Teacher Su, stop joking around with us. Who in our class could possibly be the national top scorer? Teacher Su pushed his glasses up and said with a smile, I am not joking with you guys. The person who is the national top scorer is Yang. As he spoke, Teacher Su personally brought the score report to Yang. Yang, congratulations. You achieved an outstanding score of 648. Not only are you the science top scorer of our city, but also the national science top scorer. Yang was still a bit stunned at this moment. She knew her scores weren't too bad, but she had never imagined that she would accidentally become the number one in science. Thank you, Teacher Su. Yang stood up and reached out with both hands to receive the score report. The classroom, which was somewhat noisy, suddenly quieted down. 648 points. 648 points. What did 648 points represent? It meant that Yang must have scored full marks in at least 5 subjects. That was terrifying. The students who had mocked Yang were now frozen, faces full of complex expressions. Especially Zhou Xuemei, whose face had all the colors of the rainbow, looking extremely amusing. Just now, she had been so proud of her 591 points, not expecting that Yang would become the city's top scorer in an instant. Moreover, she had just viciously mocked Yang. Now her face was in unprecedented pain. And it was especially hard for her to digest. Why did Yang get to be first? Did she cheat? But there was absolutely no chance of cheating in the college entrance examination. Zhou Xuemei was suffering so much. Her heart twisted with envy. Teacher Su brought over an exaggeratedly big red flower and wanted Yang to wear it. However, Yang kindly refused. Being humble at the right time was still necessary. Teacher Su didn't insist on Yang wearing it. Not wearing the big red flower couldn't take away the fact that she was the national top scorer. After announcing the scores, Teacher Su led everyone out to take the graduation photo. Yang, you have to treat me to a meal. You definitely have to. Han Xiaoyu was even happier than if she had become the national top scorer herself. She just knew Yang hadn't cheated. It was all about winning that pride. Of course, that's a given. Tell me, where do you want to eat? Han Xiaoyu said with a smile. I can pick anywhere? Of course. Yang nodded. Han Xiaoyu said, then can I pick National Beauty for a big meal? Yang nodded, no problem at all. Seeing Yang agree so earnestly, Han Xiaoyu laughed. I'm just joking with you. I've heard that National Beauty is not only super expensive, but it also requires a membership card. Otherwise you have to wait in line. It's not a place that just anyone can go into so easily. You treating me to a bowl of noodles would be great. Han Xiaoyu was just teasing Yang, never intending to really go to Gus Tianxiang for a meal. Yang smiled and said, I was just joking with you too. She planned to give Han Xiaoyu a surprise quietly. When they went out to take their graduation photos, a bunch of journalists were interviewing the salutatorian, his family, as well as Zhang Chang at the campus gate. Li Wei saw Yang and her classmates walking from that direction, his face full of a sense of superiority. Yang must be envious of him now. After all, he was the salutatorian. But some things, even if envied, could not be obtained. Just then, a journalist extended the microphone and asked, Li Wei, as our city's salutatorian, can you tell us about your self-awareness? Li Wei was about to answer when a large group of journalists surged in from outside, and he was startled. Were all these journalists here to interview him? It must be so. After all, he was the city's salutatorian. A rare genius seen once in a century. Thinking this, Li Wei straightened his collar. He wanted to be on television in his best spiritual state. Because then, everyone in the country, including Yang, would see him. Just as Li Wei was about to answer the journalist's question, the journalist's pager suddenly rang. The journalist glanced at the pager and his excited expression changed. Oh my God! The national top scholar. It's been years since Beijing produced a national top scholar. Everyone wanted to interview this national top scholar first. The journalist quickly pulled the microphone away from Li Wei and ran with the others towards the campus. Li Wei was dumbfounded. Weren't these people here to interview him? The national top scholar? Did someone from City Number 3 High School become the national top scholar? Li Wei suddenly felt his brain wasn't quite keeping up. Did their school really produce a national top scholar? That shouldn't be right. If there really was a national top scholar, one would expect the news to have been posted earlier, not waited until now. Chen Jinfeng very dissatisfiedly said, "What are these journalists doing? Have they gone mad? Xiaowei, don't pay any attention to them later when they come begging to interview you." Zhang Chang also felt quite baffled. Because he was so eager to come out for the interview, Zhang Chang completely missed the news about Ni Yang being the national top scholar. At that moment, a breathless journalist stopped in front of Li Wei and took out a microphone. "Hello, student, are you Li Wei, the salutatorian of the science division in Beijing this year?" Subsequently, many other journalists also took out their microphones. Seeing this, Li Wei breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed there were still people who wanted to interview him. Those journalists must have made a mistake. They would come back soon. Li Wei straightened his back and continued, "Yes, I am Li Wei." Chen Jinfeng hurried over and said, "I am Li Wei's mother, Chen Jinfeng. The salutatorian is my son." It was her first time on television, and Chen Jinfeng was particularly excited, even wearing light makeup and a skirt she usually didn't wear. She couldn't wait to announce to the whole world that she had a son who had become the salutatorian. Li Dongliang of course wouldn't miss this good opportunity to be on TV. "I am the father of the salutatorian, Li Dongliang." Zhang Chang cleared his throat. "I am the homeroom teacher of student Li Wei." The journalist continued, "Li Wei, do you know the national top scholar Ni Yang? Are you in the same class as her? What's her usual attitude towards studying like? How much do you know about her?" Chapter 927, Just Like This, Conquered by You. Although we couldn't interview the national top scholar, interviewing a fellow alumnus is also possible. Perhaps the alumnus knows some exclusive news. Upon hearing this, Li Wei was stunned. What? He only felt a buzzing noise around his ears. The national top scholar? Ni Yang is the national top scholar? Was he experiencing auditory hallucinations? The others around him wore the same expression as Li Wei. Seeing that Li Wei hadn't spoken for a while, the journalist continued, "Student Li Wei, are you listening?" Li Wei then came to his senses. I'm listening." The journalist repeated the previous question. Li Wei didn't answer the journalist's question but instead asked, Ni Yang scored the national top scholar? This was simply too unbelievable. How could Ni Yang possibly score the national top scholar? What in the world was going on? Just a second ago, Li Wei was basking in the joy of having secured the second highest city rank, but the next second he felt like he had fallen into an ice cellar. A chill spread throughout his body. Zhang Chang beside him was completely flustered. How could Ni Yang have achieved the national top scholar? If she had scored the national top scholar, why hadn't there been any indication beforehand? "Comrade journalist, you must have made a mistake," Zhang Chang said with a stiff smile. "Our school only has one second highest city ranker, and that's our classmate Li Wei. Ni Yang wasn't one who cheated, was she? How could she possibly score the national top scholar? This had to be a mistake. He was the only outstanding teacher this year." Just then a commotion arose from behind. "Here they come. Over there. The one beside the principal is the national top scholar. Let's hurry over." The journalists who had originally surrounded Li Wei in that instant all ran off. Li Wei also turned his head to look. He saw Ni Yang being surrounded by a crowd walking this way, like the moon surrounded by a halo of stars. She really was the national top scholar? Li Wei licked his dry lips, not knowing quite what to feel. Chen Jinfeng was about to go mad. The most brilliant person was supposed to be her son. How could that cheap girl Ni Yang become the national top scholar? Wasn't she just a small business owner? How could she take away all the journalists? "Come back. All of you come back. My son is the runner-up. Don't you want to know about his study methods?" "Mom, stop it." Li Wei pulled Chen Jinfeng back. "Aren't you ashamed?" Reluctantly, Chen Jinfeng closed her mouth. "These people are crazy. Crazy. They leave you, the runner-up, uninterviewed to actually go interview that small business owner. Who knows if her national top scholar title is even real?" Chen Jinfeng said. Li Wei sighed. "If you question whether hers is fake, others could also question if my second highest city rank is fake. Mom, stop talking nonsense. The college entrance exam is a serious matter. Be careful of bringing trouble with your words." Hearing this, Zhang Chang nodded in agreement. That's right, Li Wei's mother, Li Wei is right. You could end up being legally responsible. The college entrance examination was so strict that it was absolutely impossible for cheating to occur. Frightened, Qian Jinfeng quickly covered her mouth. Zhang Chang suppressed the discomfort at the bottom of his heart, patted Li Wei on the shoulder. Li Wei, even though Ni Yang scored the national top scholar, you shouldn't be discouraged. You secured the second highest city rank. The teacher is already very happy. This is the first time I have taught a student who achieved such a rank. As a teacher, one must not say things that could harm a student's spirits at times like this. Zhang Chang wasn't a muddle-headed person either. Li Wei nodded. I understand, Teacher Zhang. Li Wei truly felt bitter. He had been proud of having scored the second highest city rank and had even advised Ni Yang not to be discouraged. But unexpectedly, the situation had turned upside down in an instant. He was merely the second highest city ranker. How could he compare with Ni Yang? Xiaowei, don't be sad, you are still the pride of your father's heart. Li Dongliang patted Li Wei on the shoulder. Li Wei nodded again, then turned his head to look over at Ni Yang. At that moment, Ni Yang was being interviewed by journalists. Upon seeing Ni Yang, the journalists were quite amazed. Who said that good students weren't pretty? Look how beautiful Ni Yang is. No matter from which angle the camera shot, there were no blind spots. Moreover, not only was Ni Yang beautiful, but she also had an excellent demeanor, without the typical nerdy air of someone who had buried themselves in books. She was youthful and vibrant, truly a representative of contemporary students. Ni Yang, when did you find out you were the national top scholar? Asked the journalist. Ni Yang, how are you feeling right now? Chapter 928, Just Like This, Conquered by You. _2. Can you share your regular study methods with the viewers in front of the television? Ni Yang, confronted with the many questions from the journalists, wasn't at all stage frightened. She adjusted the microphone and leaned forward slightly. I just found out about this news myself. As for how I feel, it would be false to say I'm not happy, since one of the 3 great joys in life is to see one's name on the golden list. If someone said they were not thrilled and were calm at such a time, it would be far too fake. After all, even Ni Yang hadn't expected that she would become the national valedictorian in science. Though she was happy, she was not impulsive. She was like an orchid blooming in a quiet valley, serene and delightful. Then can you share your regular study methods with us? The journalist asked again. Ni Yang replied lightly, actually, achieving good results is inseparable from the guidance of my teachers. I am very grateful to all my teachers for their painstaking instruction. Teachers, you have worked hard. At the end of her statement, Ni Yang offered a slight bow. What is this called? This is called remembering the source of the water when drinking it. You cannot let success make you arrogant and forget the hard work of your teachers. In her past and present lives, Ni Yang had always been a businessperson. She knew how to build good relationships and that one must be adept in handling various situations. Hearing this, Teacher Su and the teachers of other subjects were overjoyed. Ni Yang was just too sensible. What does it mean to have a proud student? This is what it means to have a proud student. The journalists immediately passed the microphone to the teachers, letting them share their educational insights with everyone. The Chinese, mathematics, English teachers, and so on were all surrounded by the journalists in an impenetrable crowd. Since the reinstatement of the college entrance examination in 1977, number 3 high school in the city had never seen such excitement. After interviewing in a circle, another wave of commotion spread through the crowd. The mayor is here. It really is the mayor. At this time, the mayor coming over was obviously here to commend the national valedictorian. The journalists quickly gathered around. The mayor was extremely excited. Keep in mind that Ni Yang scored first in the national science examination. She not only brought glory to the school, but she also brought glory to Beijing. Besides, Ni Yang's total score was 648 points. There was a 20-point gap between her and the second place. Yet between the second and the third place, there was only a 2-point gap, and only a 1-point gap between the third and the fourth place. The gaps between the fourth, fifth, and subsequent places were at most 3 points. But Ni Yang had outpaced them all by a long shot. It goes without saying how formidable Ni Yang's ability really was. Hello Ni Yang, the mayor extended his hand. I am Wu Jianhai, the mayor of Beijing, and on behalf of all the citizens, I congratulate you on achieving the national valedictorian in science. Ni Yang shook hands with the mayor. Thank you, Mayor Wu. Having become the national valedictorian, the reward was certainly not going to be meager. The mayor then presented Ni Yang with a cash reward of 5,000 yuan. Naturally, to be fair and just as this year's city salutatorian, Li Wei also received a reward of 500 yuan. The country values education highly. These individuals are the future pillars of the nation. Clutching the 500 yuan in his hand, Li Wei couldn't quite pinpoint his feelings. In the 80s, 500 yuan was a lot. A regular family could not earn 500 yuan in a year. If it had been an hour earlier, Li Wei would certainly have been overjoyed. But now he couldn't feel happy at all. Compared to Ni Yang's 5,000 yuan, what was his 500 yuan? He felt like a complete joke. Li Wei jerked off the big red flower from his chest, just about to throw it into the trash, but as he reached out halfway, it was as though he reconsidered something and withdrew his hand, putting the flower back on. Today was his high school graduation day, and if this act was spotted by others, it might invite criticism. He couldn't be like this. Although he did not score as well as Ni Yang, he was still the salutatorian, and he could not lose his dignity. After composing himself, Li Wei approached Ni Yang. Ni Yang, congratulations to you. Thank you. Ni Yang smiled faintly. As Li Wei was about to say more, he was abruptly pulled away by Qian Jinfeng. So the national valedictorian is a big deal, huh? The wheel turns, what's on top today may be on the bottom tomorrow. It's still unknown what the future holds. Xiao Wei, let's not bother with her. Li Wei, feeling very uncomfortable at the moment, had no desire to argue with Qian Jinfeng, offered Ni Yang an apologetic smile, and left with Qian Jinfeng. After the journalists conducted their interviews, Class 5 began to arrange for the graduation photo. Chapter 929, Just Like This, Conquered by You. _3. In an era where communication technology was not advanced, graduation photos were still very important. After today's farewell, some people might never have the chance to meet each other again in their lifetime. Unlike later generations where you can keep in touch through WeChat, QQ, back then even big cell phones weren't produced yet. Hence, Ni Yang brought her family's camera specially today. After the graduation picture, she could also take individual photos with other classmates. Yang, take several more pictures for us, Han Xiaoyu urged as she and a female classmate struck the classic scissor hands pose. Okay, Yang pressed the shutter and took several shots. At that time, not many families could afford a camera, so more and more classmates came to Ni Yang for photos. Ni Yang did not refuse anyone, fulfilling everyone's requests regardless of gender. After the photos, Ni Yang also collected everyone's home addresses, planning to mail the developed pictures later. Seeing that Ni Yang was also going to handle the mailing, classmates started offering money. Film for the camera and postage costs money, doesn't it? Ni Yang declined with a smile. Consider it a graduation gift from me. This was an excellent opportunity to establish connections. Class 5 students had performed exceedingly well, and their future prospects were boundless. Even the most unremarkable one now had endless possibilities in the future. You should never underestimate anyone at any time. After taking photos, a few teachers were especially happy and planned to treat the whole class to a meal, which was essentially a parting gathering, as it would be difficult to get everyone together like this again after today. Hearing that teachers were treating them, all the classmates were overjoyed and cheered immediately. Several teachers took everyone to a state-owned restaurant. Though teachers' salaries weren't high at the time, their class had a country's top scorer, and the overall college entrance rate was very good, so there would definitely be rewards from above. Hence, the teachers didn't skimp on ordering. Anything on the menu was fair game, and they ordered more than 20 dishes of meat alone. With 60 people in Class 5 plus the teachers making it over 60, 20 dishes wasn't a lot for teenagers with big appetites. When life is successful, one should enjoy to the fullest. Ni Yang was the star of the gathering. She raised her glass and toasted everyone. Thank you for looking after me this past year, teachers and classmates. They'll drink to that first. A full glass of white liquor, and Ni Yang didn't even frown as she downed it. Being a successful businessperson, how could she not drink? Ni Yang's tolerance was honed in her past life. Seeing Ni Yang so hearty, her classmates at the table were astounded. Ni Yang, you really can hold your liquor. Wow. Ni Yang, I thought you didn't drink. Ni Yang was so beautiful, who knew she could drink too? It was really surprising. The teachers were also surprised, fearing that their own tolerance might not match Ni Yang's. Ni Yang smiled and said, my mother also has good tolerance, probably it's genetic. After a round of toasts, everyone began to feast heartily. Current times, everyone's home food was generally not rich, but today's meal with meat and alcohol made them extremely happy. The mood was infectious, and even the girls who usually abstained from alcohol began toasting each other. An hour later, everyone was slightly tipsy. As they ate, the atmosphere suddenly turned sentimental. After all, after this meal, everyone would be going their separate ways. Groups of classmates started sharing their heartfelt thoughts, unable to part from each other. Yang, which university are you applying to? Han Xiaoyu asked Yang. Yihua University, Yang replied. Since Yihua University was in Beijing, it was easier for Yang to look after her business. Han Xiaoyu sighed, if only my scores could reach the threshold, I would apply to Yihua University too. Unfortunately, her scores were just enough for a first-tier university. Yang lifted her glass, her lips curving into a light dimple. Don't worry, Xiaoyu, we're both in Beijing and we'll have plenty of opportunities to meet in the future. Rest assured, our friendship will never change no matter what. Han Xiaoyu raised her glass to Yang's. You're right, Yang. No matter what, our friendship will always remain the same. With that, Han Xiaoyu also emulated Yang, finishing her drink in one gulp. Chapter 930, Just like this I am conquered by you. _4. The cheap liquor burned as it went down, inexplicably choking. Han Xiaoyu's eyes reddened from the choking and she hugged Yang tightly. Yang, I've decided, I'm going to Normal University in Beijing and become a teacher. I'll teach a batch after batch of national top scholars. Good, Yang nodded. Dinner lasted more than 2 hours before finally breaking up. On the way back, Teacher Su found Yang alone. Yang, are you going to apply for Yihua University? Yang nodded, yes. Teacher Su continued, Principal said that with your grades, going to Harvard would be no problem at all. Haven't you considered Harvard? Yang not only had no problems getting into Harvard, but Harvard would also waive all tuition and fees, provide free room and board, and once Yang filled out the application for Harvard, her household registration would also be transferred to M country along with her student status, making her an official citizen of M country. This was something many people yearned for but couldn't achieve, and yet Yang was actually considering Yihua University? Yihua University was very good too, but Harvard was, after all, world-ranked, and the difference between these two prestigious universities was significant. Yang smiled and said, Yihua is quite good, besides my parents are both in Beijing and I don't want to go too far away. Teacher Su nodded his head. Actually, thinking from another angle, Yang's choice of Yihua University wasn't bad either, as she would be able to contribute to the country after graduation. If she went abroad, with her talents, America would surely do everything possible to keep her. In that case, the country would lose a talent. When Yang got home, the family hadn't started dinner yet. Everyone was waiting for Yang to come back and dine together. After all, today was a big day for Yang. Even Shang Guanxi and Shang Guansu hadn't left the house. Seeing that Yang came back so late, everyone thought that Yang might not have performed very well, and they didn't dare to ask directly about her scores for fear of discouraging her. Grandpa Jing smiled and said, Yang's back, come and eat. Yang said in surprise, Grandpa, you haven't eaten yet? I'm so sorry, it's all my fault. I got carried away and forgot you were all waiting for me at home. Please go ahead and eat. Yang truly hadn't expected everyone to be waiting at home for her to have dinner together. If she'd known this, she would have called ahead no matter what. Excited? Grandpa Zheng was taken aback. Could it be that Yang had done well? Otherwise, why forget to call home being so excited? Yang, how did you do? Grandpa Zheng asked. Yang smiled mysteriously. Grandpa, have you got that cart of firecrackers ready? A cart of firecrackers. Upon hearing this, Grandpa Zheng couldn't believe his ears. Yang, did you get into first-tier university? Yang shook her head. No. The smile stayed on Grandpa Zheng's face. It's okay if it's not first-tier, even getting into second-tier university is enough for me to buy a cart of firecrackers. Yang smiled and said, Grandpa, I didn't get into a second-tier university either. Then what did you get into? Grandpa Zheng asked in confusion. Third tier? Grandma Zheng interrupted Grandpa Zheng. You old fool, is it not a university if it's not one of those tiers? As far as I'm concerned, as long as she gets into any university, that's fine. What's all this about second tier and third tier? Yang, don't listen to your grandpa. Grandma Zheng was a very cultured person and rarely used foul language. Today she had been irritated by Grandpa Zheng. She was afraid Grandpa Zheng might hurt Yang's self-esteem. Yang looked up at the people by the table. Grandma, Grandpa, Grandma, parents, big brother, sister Xiaoxi, I scored 648 points in total and am this year's science top scholar. As soon as these words came out, The room went silent instantly. Science top scholar? And I Yang actually became the science top scholar. Was this an illusion? What? Grandpa Zheng grabbed an I Yang's hand. Yang, what did you say? Grandpa, you heard right, in this year's science top scholar, and I Yang said. Grandpa Zheng's voice trembled. Top scholar? Yes, and I Yang nodded. Goodness. Science top scholar. Yang, you're not joking with us, are you? Grandpa Zheng was so excited he was almost incoherent. No, and I Yang shook her head. Shengguan, she stood up excitedly. Is it our city's science top scholar? And I Yang smiled and said, the national science top scholar. National. My goodness. Grandpa Zheng's eyes welled up with excitement. This must be Grandpa Zheng's ancestors blessing the Zheng family. They'll go notify our relatives right away. Grandma Zheng quickly headed upstairs. Chapter 931. Just like this I am conquered by you. _5. I also need to tell Furong and the others. Old Lady Shangguan also stood up. The two elders couldn't wait to announce it to the world. Shangguan Su stood up and said, Yang, congratulations. When you become successful you can't forget your big brother. And I Yang smiled and said, don't worry, I definitely won't. And I Tsuehua looked at I Yang, feeling a flood of emotions, her eyes slightly reddened. Shengguan Dehui knew I Yang was smart. From the start he knew I Yang wouldn't perform poorly, but he never expected that I Yang would actually top the national science exam. This kid had completely exceeded his expectations. Shengguan Dehui smiled and said, Yang, with your scores getting into Harvard is no problem at all. It seems this year Beijing University, Yihua University, and Harvard will have a tough competition over you. There are many top scorers, but national top scorers are only 2 each year. All the major universities are vying for them. The lengths they go to snatch the top scorers each year are simply endless. And I Yang said, I don't want to go abroad. I want to attend Yihua University. Yihua University? Shengguan Dehui was surprised since he was a professor at Yihua University. And I Yang nodded. Yihua University is a century-old institution with strong faculty and a key university. Moreover, it's close to home, so I want to go to Yihua University. In N.I. Yang's opinion, Yihua University was not inferior to Harvard. In his past life, some students from Harvard didn't even match up to those from Yihua. As long as you study well, it's the same wherever you are. Shengguan Dehui nodded. That's great, I'll go back and talk to our principal. He'll probably be overjoyed. N.I. Yang scored the top national science spot, and the entire N.I. family was extremely happy. At night, the news was broadcast on time. Grandpa Zheng, Grandma Zheng, and Old Lady Shangguan sat in front of the TV, glued to the screen, afraid of missing anything. After a while, Grandma Zheng excitedly pointed at the TV and said, Here it comes. Here it comes. Yang is on. Ting ting. Dehui. Xiaoshu Xiaoxi. Come quickly. Yang is on. Hearing her voice, Shangguan Dehui and N.I. Tsuehua dropped what they were doing and rushed over. Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi also ran over. The calmest person in the family was N.I. Yang. Having been a frequent guest on TV in his past life, he was quite used to it. Old Lady Shangguan picked up the phone and dialed Shangguan Furong. Furong, you better turn on the TV right now, Yang is already on. Shangguan Shi rested her chin on her palms and watched N.I. Yang on TV. Yang, is that male classmate over there from your class? N.I. Yang turned his head. Seems like he's from the next class. Although he didn't spend much time in class, he still recognized his classmates. Shangguan Shi poked N.I. Yang's arm. I noticed he keeps sneaking glances at you. Does he have a crush on you? N.I. Yang crossed his arms and said narcissistically, Very likely. After all, the people who like me could circle the earth 3 or 4 times holding hands. Haha Yang, you're really narcissistic. Grandma Zheng and Old Lady Shangguan were also amused by N.I. Yang. This kid. Grandpa Zheng said seriously, Yang, don't forget you already have a boyfriend now. You can't behave recklessly behind oldest ex's back. That's wrong. N.I. Yang, smiling, said, Grandpa, don't worry, I was just joking. Aren't you too unlovely? De Mingxian. Du Jiaojiao was watching the news in the living room, just in time to catch the broadcast about this year's national science topper. Du Jiaojiao was about to remark, This science topper is really good looking. Looking closely, wasn't that N.I. Yang? Damn. N.I. Yang actually became the national top scorer in science. Du Jiaojiao hurriedly called out to Du Yi, Third brother. Come here, something has happened. Du Yi walked out of the study room unhurriedly. What's up? Look at the TV. Quick look. Du Jiaojiao pointed at the TV. Du Yi, still calm and composed, appearing as if he had expected it all along, countered, "What's so strange about that?" Du Jiaojiao took a sip of water and then said, "Last time I heard Yang Yang say he doesn't go to school much, I thought his grades were poor. But it turns out that looks can be deceiving." Du Yi glanced at her. "Looks can be deceiving? Isn't that a pejorative phrase?" Du Jiaojiao added, "What I mean is, I didn't expect Ni Yang to be so good-looking and yet also perform so well academically. Aren't people with good grades usually nerds? Like Du Lei." Chapter 932, Just Like This I Am Conquered by You. _6. Du Lei was the 8th child in the Du family and a true bookworm. His pet phrases always, Confucius says, and thus and so, and such. Ni Yang didn't have a bit of this habit. Elder Du twirled his Buddha beads. "There are many things you wouldn't think of." "What do you mean?" Du Jiaojiao turned back to look at Elder Du. "Do you know Ni Yang well?" Elder Du turned and walked towards the study. "If there's nothing else, I'll head back to the study room now." Du Jiaojiao pointed at the TV. "Aren't you going to watch?" "Watch it yourself." "How boring." Du Jiaojiao rolled her eyes. She had once thought that maybe Elder Du liked Ni Yang. Now it seemed that Elder Du was still the same as before. A person without a heart. Elder Du returned to the study, picked up the brush and continued with his painting. On the pure white canvas was the background of a brilliant night sky, surrounded by pitch-black jungle, a bonfire burning under a big tree. A strand of black hair fell from the tree. The fierce flames burned fiercely, threatening to destroy the painting. After a few more strokes, Elder Du put down the brush, rolled up the canvas, placed it in the cabinet, and picked up a Buddhist scripture to read softly. Buddhist scriptures had a calming effect. Soon after, Du Jiaojiao entered from outside, disdainfully saying, chanting scriptures, you're chanting again." She followed up by saying, "The moon is very round tonight, let's go have a drink." Elder Du glanced over lightly. "Not awake yet?" Du Jiaojiao waved her hand. Fine, I know you don't drink alcohol." "Forget I asked." Jinghua Village. Ever since Elder Lu got a TV, almost every evening at dinner time, everyone would bring their bowls and leech off Elder Liu's TV. Tonight was no exception. When everyone saw Ni Yang on the TV, they were stunned. "My goodness. Isn't that Yang Yang?" "Yes, it's Yang Yang. Look at the introduction below, Beijing City and Jinghua Village jurisdiction. Yang Yang is so amazing. I always knew Yang Yang's mom was lucky. The happiest person was the village chief. A national top scholar came from their village. How could the village chief not be happy? He was just about to visit the Ni family to offer his congratulations when the officials came, saying that journalists would arrive tomorrow for an interview in Scholar Village and asked the scholar to prepare. Scholar Village. The moment the village chief heard those 3 words, he felt like he was floating. Although it was Ni Yang who had become the top scholar, the village chief also felt honored. The entire village felt honored. Especially when he heard that their village would be on TV tomorrow, the village chief was even more excited. Ni Yang had always been their village's lucky star, and now she was the pride of their village. The village chief rushed to the Ni family to discuss the matter with Ni Yang. When the village chief arrived, the Ni family's living room was packed with villagers who had come to offer their congratulations. Everyone was thrilled to hear that their village would be on TV tomorrow. The next day, as promised, journalists came to Jinghua Village for the interview. They casually interviewed a villager from Jinghua Village. "Oh, you mean Yang Yang? Yang Yang has always been very polite and especially filial. If my boy were even half as outstanding as Yang Yang, I could die with my eyes closed." "Are you here to see Sister Ni Yang?" "We are all Sister Ni Yang's protectors." "Yes, we all especially love Sister Ni Yang." Yang Yang is a good child. Across Jinghua Village, regardless of gender or age, whenever Ni Yang was mentioned, everyone's face would light up with a genuine smile from the heart. This alone made it clear that Ni Yang was truly outstanding. This was what it truly meant to be excellent in character and learning. In no time, Ni Yang had become the proverbial child of someone else, that all the parents talked about. She also became a role model for the contemporary youth to follow. In the blink of an eye, another 5 days had passed. Ni Yang hadn't visited the mall to check the accounts for 5 days, and taking advantage of the nice weather today, she cycled to the city. The top scholar of the entire country had quite the influence, and several employees recognized her when she went to check the accounts at the department store. Although Lu Ru had just arrived in Beijing, she had made quite a few good friends there, and upon their recommendations she had become a fan of the department store's products. Because the products from the department store were just too good to use. As she was queuing, she suddenly spotted a familiar figure. That despicable girl. Light flashed in Lu Ru's eyes as she tugged at her companion's sleeve. Yeah, wait here for me, I've got something to take care of real quick. Okay, Leah nodded. Lu Ru ran out to the mall entrance in one breath and found a public phone booth to make a call. Hello, brother. Hurry to the Jinghua department store, I've spotted that despicable girl from that day. Lu Qi said, Xiaoru, you mustn't be impolite like last time, nor are you allowed to call her a despicable girl again. I'll be right there. Lu Qi was quick to act. He hung up the phone and drove over. Lu Ru pointed and said, Bro, look, that's her over there. The most beautiful one? Lu Qi squinted his eyes. Lu Ru reluctantly nodded. Lu Qi touched his chin and said, She doesn't seem as rude as you described. From Lu Ru's descriptions, Lu Qi had almost believed the other person to be an unruly woman. He hadn't expected her to be so attractive in person. Taiwan Island was known for its beautiful women, but none of them could hold a candle to the girl in front of him. Lu Ru rolled her eyes at Lu Qi. Don't be fooled by her nice appearance, she's actually got a terrible temper. Extremely impolite. No home training. You'll see in a minute. Lu Qi continued, just don't be too impulsive later, he'll have a proper talk with her. The siblings waited on the side for quite a while, until Ni Yang finally came out of the department store. Lu Qi jogged to catch up with Ni Yang. Comrade, please wait a moment. Ni Yang glanced back slightly. Do you need something? Lu Qi pulled over Lu Ru and continued, Comrade, this is my sister Lu Ru, and am her brother Lu Qi. Qi is in the Qi used in a poet's writing in chess. I would like to apologize for my sister's behavior last time. I'm really sorry, comrade. Lu Ru was stunned on the side. Her brother was actually making her apologize to this despicable girl. Weren't they supposed to talk it out? Why apologize? It wasn't her fault. Ni Yang sized up the siblings and had a pretty deep impression of Lu Ru. A haughty young lady like her was indeed a rare sight in Beijing nowadays. I've received your apology, was there something else? Lu Qi choked up a little, not expecting Ni Yang to respond that way. As the saying goes, 100 years of repair to share the same boat. Our meeting amongst the sea of people is also a kind of fate. Comrade, do you have some time? Perhaps the three of you could find a spot to grab a bite and have a chat? Chapter 933, She's not that kind of person. Second update, sit down and eat? Ni Yang frowned inconspicuously except when she couldn't avoid social niceties. She didn't have a fondness for dining and chatting with strangers. If you have something to say, just say it, Ni Yang said lightly, pointing to the rest chairs in the mall. We can go sit there. Ni Yang had an intuition that this brother and sister were here for the bracelet. Oh, all right, Lu Qi said as he took Lu Ru's hand and walked over. These days the mall's rest chairs were very simple. Lu Ru sat on the chair reluctantly. If looks could kill, Lu Qi would have died hundreds of times by now. Usually, her brother was quite reliable, but she hadn't expected him to turn into this upon meeting a pretty girl. Just say what you have to say, Ni Yang broke the silence, being the first to speak up. Lu Qi pondered for a moment before saying, Well, comrade, may I boldly ask where you bought the bracelet on your hand? Is there a problem with my bracelet? Ni Yang's brows and eyes were clear and bright. Lu Qi cleared his throat and continued, It's like this. There's a long-lost elder in our family whose bracelet is identical to yours. So, we are wondering if the person who sold you the bracelet could be our elder? Ni Yang followed, Are you that sure that the bracelet is your family elder's? Look at this, Lu Qi said. As he spoke, Lu Qi took out an old photo which didn't capture a person but a jade bracelet. Although it was a black and white photo, the details were captured very clearly. Anyone who knew their stuff would recognize at first glance that the two bracelets were one and the same. Ni Yang took the photo and scrutinized it carefully. After a moment she handed the photo back to Lu Qi. Lu Qi took back the photo. Comrade, what do you think? Can you believe what I said now? This bracelet truly belongs to my family elder, and frankly, it's also our family heirloom. Comrade, can you tell me where the person who sold you the bracelet is now? Could it be that Lu Qi and Lu Ru were Grandma Liu's descendants? But they didn't look anything like Grandma Liu. Ni Yang's expression remained cool. What relation is that elder to you? Lu Qi said, She's my aunt. Normally a term of respect for one's father's brother's wife. Could it be that they were all Grandma Liu's nephews and nieces? Grandma Liu was currently all alone. If she could find family, that would be nice. Ni Yang continued, I can't just take your word for it, I need to go back and verify. I think you just don't want to return that bracelet. Lu Ru interrupted, do you realize that bracelet is our family heirloom? What you're doing is theft. It was just too shameless, they had made it so clear, yet she still didn't want to return the bracelet. Lu Qi frowned, Xiaoru. Don't be so impolite. Comrade, I'm sorry, my sister is just like this. Lu Ru could be angered to death by Lu Qi. If she had known it would turn out like this, she wouldn't have called him over. Good for nothing whose loyalties lie elsewhere. That bracelet is originally our family heirloom. And Yang wasn't upset and looked up at Lu Ru. Why don't you just claim the entire mall as your family heirloom then? Legally what you're doing is called slander. Lu Ru was left speechless. Too outrageous. The shameless girl was really just too much. Seeing Lu Ru's mood worsening, Lu Qi quickly pushed her behind him and smiled apologetically to Yang. Don't be angry with her, comrade. My sister, she just didn't grow a brain, you shouldn't stoop to her level. Yang, sensing Lu Qi's attitude was still decent, continued, to tell you the truth, my bracelet was also given to me by an elder from my family. He'll go back and ask her and check the situation. If it turns out you are telling the truth, he'll let you know her address. By the way, do you know her name? Lu Qi said, I don't know my aunt's name, but she would definitely know my father's name. He is Lu Haoshan. Yang nodded slightly, okay, I got it. I'll tell her once I get back. Thank you for your trouble, Lu Qi continued, do you mind telling me your name? Instead of answering directly, Yang asked, will you have time tomorrow? Yes, Lu Qi nodded instinctively. Yang took a watch out of her pocket and checked the time, then let's meet here at the same time tomorrow afternoon. Agreed, it's settled then, Lu Qi nodded again. After saying this, Yang turned and walked away. Lu Qi watched Yang's departing figure, his lips curved into a silly smile. Brother, why did you just let her go like that? Lu Ru was nearly fuming with anger. Lu Qi didn't turn back as he spoke. Didn't she say she would come again tomorrow? Lu Ru said in exasperation. You believe what a woman says? Who knows if she will show up tomorrow afternoon? Lu Qi said firmly, she's not that kind of person. Chapter 934, Great Beauty, Siblings? Some people, just by looking at their faces you can tell their character. Lu Qi believed that Yang was not one of those people. Lu Ru snorted coldly, you speak as if you know her so well. I'm going back to tell our parents, let them break your legs. Yang didn't linger in the mall. After meeting siblings Lu Qi and Lu Ru, she went to visit Grandma Lu. Grandma Lu was holding Depang in her arms, watching Huang Mei opera. The opera Meng Jiangnis Bitter Weeping at the Great Wall brought tears to Grandma Lu's eyes. Grandma Lu. Yang gently tapped on the wooden door. It's you, Yang. Grandma Lu turned around, wiping her tears. Depang meowed, leaping from Grandma Lu's lap onto Yang. Come, have a seat. Grandma Lu patted the small bamboo chair beside her. Yang walked over and sat down. After some small talk, Yang brought up the important matter. Grandma Lu, do you know Lu Haoshan? Lu Haoshan? Grandma Lu frowned. I don't know him. Could you think about it a bit more? Yang continued. Grandma Lu shook her head. I still don't recognize that name, Yang. Why are you asking about this Lu Haoshan all of a sudden? Then Yang mentioned the matter concerning siblings Lu Qi and Lu Ru. Their heirloom. Grandma Lu said angrily, what kind of people are these siblings? When did my bracelet become their heirloom? Yang, don't pay attention to them. This bracelet has always been mine, nobody else's heirloom. Yang continued, Grandma Lu, could it be possible that they are your long-lost relatives? Their father is called Lu Haoshan, are you sure you don't know Lu Haoshan? Grandma Lu firmly shook her head, I may be old but am not senile. I'm certain I do not know Lu Haoshan. I suspect they just want to swindle your bracelet, Yang, don't let them deceive you. Aside from her parents, Grandma Lu had 3 older brothers, 1 younger brother, 8 sisters-in-law, and about a dozen nieces and nephews, all lost during the war. Some died, some disappeared. That year of the war, Grandma Lu had been newly married when the sudden conflict took her husband's life. Whenever she recalled these memories, it became hard for Grandma Lu to breathe. Grandma Lu wiped her eyes, continuing, Now, I'm just a lonely old widow. I don't have any relatives left. Yang took out a handkerchief to wipe Grandma Lu's eyes. Grandma Lu, don't be sad. Aren't you still have me? Yes. Grandma Lu nodded. She felt fortunate to have met Yang in her twilight years. Had it not been for Yang, she might have been gone from this world long ago. In old age, even a common cold or fever could be life-threatening. Once, Grandma Lu had lain in bed for 3 days with a fever. If Ni Yang hadn't come to see her, the grass over her grave would be several meters high by now. That's why Grandma Lu had given Ni Yang her most precious possession. She truly regarded Ni Yang as her own granddaughter. Worried that Grandma Lu might miss out on meeting her relatives, Ni Yang suggested, "Grandma Lu, how about I arrange a meeting for you? Better to recognize mistakenly than to miss out on a possible miracle." "I don't want to meet," Grandma Lu waved her hand. "Decades have passed. If a miracle were to happen, it would have happened by now, not dragged out till today." Since Grandma Lu was unwilling to meet, Ni Yang didn't say much more. The next day, Ni Yang took a set of limited edition skincare products and punctually met at the mall as agreed. When Ni Yang arrived, she found not only the siblings Lu Qi and Lu Ru, but also an elderly man with white hair and a middle-aged woman. Seeing this middle-aged woman, Ni Yang was stunned. How come she felt this person looked so much like Dr. Jiang? The features were at least 70 or 80% similar, only much younger than Dr. Jiang. Just then, Ni Yang suddenly remembered the siblings Lu Qi and Lu Ru had come from Taiwan Island. Could this person be the one Xiaozhou was talking about? Was she the one investigating Dr. Jiang? What was her relationship with Dr. Jiang? Was she Dr. Jiang's illegitimate daughter? What hidden stories lay beneath all this? Ni Yang subtly furrowed her brow. "You're here, comrade?" Lu Qi, seeing Ni Yang greatly relieved, he knew Ni Yang was not the type to break promises. Ni Yang nodded. Chapter 935, Great Beauty, Siblings? Lu Qi continued, "This is my father and this is my mother." Ni Yang was taken aback. Before Lu Qi introduced them, she had thought that the white-haired old man was Lu Qi's grandfather, and that the middle-aged woman and that man were father and daughter. But it turned out they were husband and wife. It really was an odd match. Lu Qi added, "My parents are very concerned about my aunt's condition, so they came with me. Please don't mind, comrade." Ni Yang smiled politely and greeted Lu Qi's parents. Lu Qi then introduced Ni Yang to his parents. "Mom, Dad, this comrade is the one who might know about my aunt." Seeing Ni Yang, Liu's father was visibly excited, eyes reddening. "Young comrade, what's your name?" With an apologetic expression, Ni Yang said, "Uncle, I might disappoint you. I checked with my family's elder last night. She said she does not know you or Lu Haoshan." "How could this be?" Lu Ru's face changed. "I think you haven't even told my aunt. You just want to keep our family heirloom for yourself." "Xiaoru." Liu's father frowned, scolding Lu Ru. Liu's father had never lost his temper with Lu Ru before. This was the first time. Startled, Lu Ru immediately shut her mouth, glaring resentfully at Ni Yang. "Wretched girl." Liu's father looked at Ni Yang and continued, "Young comrade, there are too many twists and turns that I cannot explain to you all. Could you please tell me where she is now? Once she sees me, she will recognize me." Liu's father had a premonition that the elder Ni Yang mentioned was the person they were looking for. "I'm sorry, I cannot tell you." Ni Yang shook her head. "Little comrade," Liu's mother grabbed Ni Yang's hand, crying profusely, "we have been looking for our child's aunt for decades. Over the years we haven't eaten or slept well. She has suffered so much alone, and now she is old, we want to bring her back to enjoy her twilight years. Please, young comrade, would you do us this favor? I'm begging you." Liu's mother covered her face as she cried, while discreetly eyeing the jade bracelet on Ni Yang's wrist. Exquisite, clear, its brilliant verdant color interspersed with streaks of translucent white. Smooth and flawless. It was a top-grade jade. This was their family's heirloom. How could it have ended up on someone else's wrist? Liu's mother wished she could remove the jade bracelet from Ni Yang's wrist that very moment. Ni Yang said, "Auntie, you're really mistaken. My family's elder is not the person you're looking for." Perhaps it was because Liu's mother looked somewhat like Dr. Jiang that Ni Yang had no particularly good feelings toward her. Moreover, since Liu's mother was asking about Dr. Jiang's whereabouts, this meant Dr. Jiang must have some connection to her. The saying about the company one keeps influencing one's behavior is not without basis. Lu Qi stepped forward. "Comrade, don't rush to deny it. Whether she is my aunt or not, we'll find out after we meet. Please just help. My aunt is already 78 this year. If we miss this chance, we might never get to meet her in this lifetime, and some regrets last forever." Liu's mother hurriedly said, Yes, young comrade, whether she is my long-lost older sister, the children's aunt, you can't decide, neither can we. We need to meet her to conclude." With the bracelet here, they were sure they wouldn't mistake the person. The person must be senile to have given such a valuable heirloom to someone else. Ni Yang shook her head. I'm sorry, my family's elder refuses to meet you. Ni Yang couldn't speak on behalf of Grandma Lu to agree to their request. Liu's father sighed. Fire seemed to spark from Lu Ru's eyes, wishing she could burn a hole in Ni Yang. She saw Ni Yang's actions as deliberate. Ni Yang was coveting her aunt's possessions. If it weren't for Liu's father being there, she would have burst out cursing. It was infuriating. Carrying their family heirloom and now even preventing them from recognizing their relative. Heavens! How could there be such shameless people in this world? Liu's mother, clutching Ni Yang's hands, unintentionally touched the translucent jade bracelet, its cool touch relieving the summer heat, truly an heirloom's hallmark. Chapter 936, Great Beauty, Siblings? _3. Under the current circumstances, we can only act subtly, not forcefully, Lu Mu continued. Comrade, I beg you. The children's great-aunt for our family is truly very important. I am kneeling down for you. As she spoke, Lu Qi's mother attempted to kneel before Ni Yang, who thankfully stopped her in time. Auntie, please don't do this. Comrade, just let these two children fulfill their filial duties to their great-aunt. After so many years, their great-aunt must have suffered a lot out there. We've only just managed to find out about her whereabouts. How can you bear to see us endure the pain of being apart from her? We just want her to live well in her last moments. Lu Qi's mother cried so much her voice was nearly lost, tears streaming down her face. Sorry, I can't help you with this. Ni Yang pushed away Lu Qi's mother's hand. Auntie, I have other things to tend to, I'm leaving. With that, Ni Yang turned and left. Lu Qi's mother tried to hold onto Ni Yang, but Lu Qi's father stopped her. Lu Qi's father watched Ni Yang's retreating figure and called out loudly, Comrade, if the children's great-aunt is willing to meet with us, please come find us at the mansion in Beijing. Ni Yang moved quickly, disappearing from sight in a moment, leaving it uncertain whether she heard the words or not. Why did you stop me just now? Lu Qi's mother asked Lu Qi's father, continuing, Don't you want to find our elder sister? Lu Qi's father shook his head. Since they don't want to talk, even if you cry your eyes out, it's useless. As long as we're sure she's in Beijing, we'll find a way. After saying this, Lu Qi's father continued, Besides, I've already given her our address. If the children's great-aunt wants to see us, she will surely send her to find us. Okay, Lu Qi's mother nodded. Then all right, I'll listen to you. Lu Qi's mother was a particularly perceptive person. She wasn't spoiled or arrogant, not even with Lu Qi's father's pampering, and would never make unreasonable demands. In front of Lu Qi's father, she was always a gentle and clingy person, because only a gentle and clingy person could satisfy a man's vanity. If she didn't have any tactics, would her status in Lu Qi's father's heart have remained the same for so many years? Hearing this, Lu Ru angrily said, I knew it, that wretched girl is no good. Maybe she never even told my great-aunt about this. She must have her eyes on my great-aunt's possessions. It's so shameless. Those things belong to our family, what right does she have to take them? The more Lu Ru thought about it, the more she became convinced it was true. Their family had been separated from their great-aunt for so many years. Surely the great-aunt would dream of seeing them, so how could she refuse a meeting? It was clearly Ni Yang causing trouble. Shut up. Lu Qi looked at Lu Ru, his face stern. You can't talk about her like that. I will talk. What are you going to do about it? Lu Ru retorted while hiding behind Lu Qi's father. She's just a wretched girl. Shameless. You. Lu Qi raised his fist as if he was about to hit Lu Ru. Hit me then. Go on and hit me. Lu Ru taunted Lu Qi while making faces, feeling fearless with her parents there. If you dare, come over here. Lu Qi's mother looked at Lu Qi and then said, You're her older brother, can't you be a little more lenient with your sister? I think Zaira's right, it must be that little brat eyeing your great-aunt's wealth, which is why she's going out of her way to stop us from recognizing each other. The little girl is not old, but she sure has a big appetite. Just don't know if she can handle it all. Lu Qi frowned. Mom, please don't talk nonsense, she's not that kind of person. Lu Qi's mother said with displeasure, You don't even know her name and yet you're so sure she's not that kind of person? Anyway, she's just not. Lu Qi couldn't really lose his temper with his mother. There's a saying, a son is a son until he takes a wife, but a daughter's a daughter all her life. His son hadn't even taken a wife yet, and he was already forgetting his mother. Thinking of this made Lu Qi's mother's brow twitch. Could that little girl be doing this on purpose? Was she deliberately trying to draw Lu Qi's attention, intending to marry into the Lu family? No. She absolutely couldn't let such a thing happen. Lu Qi's mother looked at Lu Qi. Xiaoqi, you've always been a very sensible child. I hope you can think this through properly. That little girl is definitely not ordinary, she might be setting a trap for you. Lu Qi nearly laughed at this remark. Mom, please be sober, will you? At this point, she doesn't even bother to give us a second glance. Do you think she would waste her energy setting a trap for me? Chapter 937. Great Beauty, Siblings? _4. He did want An Yang to set a trap for him. If An Yang was willing to set a trap, he would definitely jump right into it. But the problem was she simply didn't bother to do so. Lu Qi was very self-aware and had a good eye for people. He could tell that An Yang was different from the other girls he had met before. Liu's mother glanced at Lu Qi and then said, I don't care, but let me say this up front, my future daughter-in-law must be chosen by me personally. Not just anyone can enter the Lu family's door. I know, Lu Qi replied in a muffled voice. Liu's father timely interjected. That young lady just now, she isn't that kind of person, went on. You and Xiaoru, if you meet her again, make sure not to say anything rude. Who knows, all these years your aunt may have relied on that young lady quite a bit. Liu's father could see that An Yang was not the type of girl who was greedy for money. Jiao Wentong always followed her husband's advice, and upon hearing this she nodded and said, Yes, I know. My sister has suffered so much over the years, I'm fully aware. I'm not targeting that young girl we just met. I'm just worried that our Xiaoqi might be deceived. You know how naive our child has been since he was young, unaware of how much he's been taken advantage of by girls. After speaking, Jiao Wentong continued, I wonder how my sister is doing now. Whether she's healthy. I really want to bring her here to stay with us soon, to let her enjoy a few good years. Liu's father sighed. From the looks of that young comrade, she probably hasn't suffered much this year. Lu Ru chimed in, almost every day Mom prays for blessings for my aunt, even after coming to Beijing she has not stopped. Surely heaven has been moved by my mom's sincere heart, that's why my aunt hasn't suffered. Jiao Wentong said a bit embarrassedly, Xiaoru, what are you talking about? It's only right for me to pray for blessings for your aunt. Liu's father patted Jiao Wentong's hand. Wentong, you've worked hard these years. Xiaoru is right, it must be your sincere heart that touched heaven. Jiao Wentong simply smiled without speaking. At this moment, not replying was the best reply. Following behind, Lu Qi said speechlessly, Mom and Dad, can we please stop promoting superstitious beliefs? If heaven really could be moved by my mom, then our whole family wouldn't need to work, no one in the entire country would need to work. We could all just sit at home and pray for blessings every day. It's up to us to make things happen. If Auntie didn't have someone to take care of her, who knows what might have happened by now. Upon hearing this, Jiao Wentong felt a surge of anger in her chest, stuck somewhere between rising and falling, making her very uncomfortable. Always ruining her moment. Is this really her own son? Unfortunately, Jiao Wentong had no way to retort. Liu's father looked at Lu Qi. Regardless of whether it's useful or not, this is your mother's sincerity. I believe your aunt can definitely feel it. Jiao Wentong was a rare good wife and mother. When Liu's father first married Jiao Wentong, he was worried that this little spoiled wife might become arrogant. Later, he realized he had been overly concerned. Jiao Wentong had not only not become arrogant but was exceptionally gentle. In Jiao Wentong, Liu's father even found a sense of his younger days. Right? Lu Ru nodded. Auntie can definitely feel it. After leaving the mall, An Yang didn't go home immediately but made a stop at Demingxian. Today was Du Jiaojiao's birthday, and she had invited her a week ago. Du Jiaojiao didn't have many friends in Beijing, so the birthday was not a big celebration. Including An Yang, there were only 3 people. Fu Xiaoshuang didn't come this time. This surprised An Yang, as last time it seemed that Fu Xiaoshuang and Du Jiaojiao were good friends. Why didn't she come? As a rival in love, An Yang had a deep impression of Fu Xiaoshuang. Yang is here. Seeing An Yang, Du Jiaojiao immediately came over. Let me introduce you, this is Wang Hengyang and Liao, good friends of mine and my younger brother. Wang Hengyang, Liao, this is Yang, her full name is An Yang. An Yang took the initiative to greet them, Mr. Wang, Miss Li. Wang Hengyang and Liao, who were both very enthusiastic, promptly stood up, Miss and I. Du Jiaojiao laughed and said, what's with this Mr. and Miss, it's too formal. We're all friends here, just call each other by names. Chapter 938, Great Beauty, Siblings? _5. They quickly became acquainted, going back and forth like this. Wang Hengyang said, we've been sitting here for so long, why hasn't Master Du shown up yet? Liao was also quite puzzled. Du Jiaojiao laughed and said, He's chanting scriptures in the Buddha hall. Really, I don't know what joy there is in living like that. Wang Hengyang said, Master Du truly is as constant as ever. Everyone in their circle knew that Master Du practiced vegetarianism and chanted Buddhist scriptures, but few knew he could keep it up for so long. Du Jiaojiao continued, Hengyang Liao, you've just arrived in Beijing, you mustn't have dined at Heavenly Colors yet. Today I'll take you there, I guarantee you'll find it irresistible after just one meal. By the way, Yang, have you been to Heavenly Colors? At this point, Du Jiaojiao turned her head to look at Nai Yang. Nai Yang nodded, I've been. Du Jiaojiao then said, How was it? The food at Heavenly Colors is amazing, isn't it? It's indeed quite good. Nai Yang unconsciously touched her nose. This shouldn't count as self-praise, right? Hearing Du Jiaojiao glorify Heavenly Colors, Wang Hengyang and Li Yao were skeptical. Just another restaurant, could it really be that miraculous? In Shin City, what restaurant hadn't they tried? What delicacies from mountains and seas hadn't they tasted? Seeing their disbelief, Du Jiaojiao chuckled, Once you go you'll understand. Yang, could you check in the Buddha hall how much longer my third brother will be? We're eager to go have dinner. Du Jiaojiao and Nai Yang were quite casual with each other. She often sent Nai Yang on errands and Nai Yang did the same with her. Mainly while Master Du was chanting in the Buddha hall, the household staff didn't dare to disturb him, but Nai Yang was different. After all, Nai Yang was Mo Kishin's girlfriend. He wouldn't get angry with her no matter what. Okay. Nai Yang put down her cup and walked towards the Buddha hall. As Li Yao watched Nai Yang's figure disappear in the direction of the door, she whispered softly, Oh my God! That girl is so beautiful. Jiaojiao, how do you know her? Du Jiaojiao said, She's my third brother's good friend's girlfriend. She even saved my third brother once by some fluke. Li Yao nodded, Oh, I see. It's a pity she settled for a boyfriend looking that gorgeous. Du Jiaojiao was taken aback. How is being beautiful related to having a boyfriend? Li Yao continued, If I were as beautiful as her, I definitely wouldn't settle down so early. I'd like to pass through 1,000 admirers without a single one touching me. Keep dreaming. Du Jiaojiao poked Li Yao's forehead. It's only because our Hengyang is so tolerant. Anyone else would have left you by now. And you're dreaming of passing through crowds. Nai Yang reached the Buddha hall. Just as she reached the door, Nai Yang heard the familiar sound of the wooden fish. Nai Yang raised her hand and knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Master Du slightly raised his eyes, a hint of annoyance flickered in them, but it faded away as soon as he saw who it was. He put away the wooden fish. Big brother Du, Sister Jiaojiao is asking when you will be done? I'm done now. Master Du straightened his clothes, stood up from the cushion with meticulous movements, the essence of dignity and grace in every deliberate motion, and put on his cloth shoes. Let's go then, said Master Du as he walked to the door. Oh. Nai Yang nodded. Walking along she asked, Don't you ever get tired of chanting and striking the wooden fish every day? Master Du slightly raised an eyebrow. Do you get tired of eating every day? Is that the same? Nai Yang retorted. Master Du said, To me it is the same. Soon the two reached the main hall. 5 people, 2 cars. Wang Hengyang and Li Yao took one car while Master Du, Jiaojiao and Nai Yang took another. Master Du sat in the front passenger seat, while Jiaojiao and Nai Yang were in the back seats. Perhaps due to some fateful connection, Jiaojiao became exceptionally talkative whenever she saw Nai Yang. Perhaps sitting in front felt bothersome after a while. Master Du slowly leaned back, his hands turning Buddha beads, and began to meditate with his eyes closed. Upon arriving at Heavenly Colors, Wang Hengyang and Li Yao finally realized Jiaojiao hadn't exaggerated. Heavenly Colors was truly outstanding. Both visual and gustatory experiences were top-notch. Li Yao, who usually could only manage half a bowl of rice, incredibly managed to eat 3 full bowls this time, plus 2 desserts. Not sure if it's an illusion, but it seems like the rice here tasted much better than anywhere else. This restaurant's boss is really amazing. Li Yao praised generously. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, I felt the same the first time I came here. Chapter 939, Great Beauty? Siblings? _6. Li Yao continued, It would be great if Shin City also had a store. Du Jiaojiao joked, You could consider moving to Beijing. After the meal, Nai Yang had some other matters to attend to, so she left early and didn't go back to Deming Pavilion with the others. Wang Hengyang went to talk business with Grandpa Du, and Li Yao chatted with Du Jiaojiao in her room. Is that the gift from the Great Beauty? Li Yao asked, pointing to a beautifully wrapped box. Although she hadn't known Nai Yang for long, Liao had already given her a nickname. That was the Great Beauty. Du Jiaojiao nodded. Yes, it's from the Great Beauty. Compared to Yang Yang, Du Jiaojiao also felt that the term Great Beauty suited Ni Yang better. What did the Great Beauty give you? I'm really so curious. Liao picked up the wrapped box casually. Do you mind if I open it to have a look? Go ahead, I would have to open it sooner or later. Liao unwrapped the box layer by layer, then exclaimed in surprise, Oh my god! What is it? Du Jiaojiao grew curious. The Great Beauty is really thoughtful, come over and take a look. Liao insisted. Du Jiaojiao came over and was also a bit surprised. The box was filled with rose petals, and a faint rose fragrance lingered in the air. In the middle of the rose petals was a box of skincare products. Ice Jade Skin, this is the first time I've heard of this name. Liao picked up the box. The packaging looks really high-end, but it seems to be a domestic product. I wonder if it's any good. As she finished, Liao continued, How well off is the great Bowtie's family? To only give a domestic skincare product. Who would dare use it? And Yang didn't seem like the stingy type. And at that time, domestic products really couldn't stand on solid ground. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, The Great Beauty is still a student. She mentioned this skincare product to me before, and it must be because she found it suitable for her use that she gifted it to me. Just in time, my skin has been a bit dry these days and I've even had some acne. I'll try Ice Jade Skin tonight. Previously, when Ni Yang had talked about it, Du Jiaojiao hadn't taken her words seriously, sharing the same sentiment as Liao. However, now that it was a gift from Ni Yang, she certainly couldn't let down Ni Yang's kindness. Liao continued, Even though it's from the Great Beauty, you should still be careful. Remember, your skin is sensitive. Back in that era, the concept of sensitive skin wasn't established, but Liao and Du Jiaojiao traveled abroad often and knew much more than the average person. I know. Du Jiaojiao nodded. Du Jiaojiao didn't just talk the talk. Although she had sensitive skin, she washed her face very carefully with the face wash as per the instructions when she took a shower in the evening. Then she applied aloe vera gel, acne cream, and hydrating moisturizer in sequence. These products felt cool and comfortable on her skin, without the stinging sensation she had anticipated, which surprised Du Jiaojiao. It seemed that Ice Jade Skin, although a domestic brand, was much better than she had expected. Du Jiaojiao was looking forward to the future results. Elsewhere. Inside the mansion. Jiao Wentong sat at the edge of the bed massaging Lu Father's feet, and the two reminisced about events from decades ago. Your older sister was a rare good woman. I wonder if, over these years, she's remarried or not. Haoshan, do you think if your sister has married again she would still return home with us? Lu Father shook his head. She's not that kind of person. Women who came out of that era had fidelity etched into their bones. Once married, they followed their husbands, and if their husbands died, they followed their sons. They valued their chastity more than their lives and would absolutely not remarry. Go back 60 years earlier and you'd still hear talk of the chastity arch. Jiao Wenong nodded. I also feel that your sister isn't that kind of person. Lu Father sighed. These years, it's I who have let her down. It's a time of war and chaos. None of this is your fault, Jiao Wenong reassured. Your sister is so kind-hearted. I believe she will understand your predicament. Lu Father sighed again. I hope so. Jiao Wentong smiled and said, Don't worry, your sister definitely won't blame you. By the way, Haoshan, there's something I'd like to discuss with you. Go ahead, Lu Father said, massaging his temples. Jiao Wentong continued, I've made up my mind. If your sister has not remarried all these years and doesn't have any children, I'm considering adopting Xiaoru out to her. Jiao Wentong was a clever woman. She knew that after adopting Lu Ru to Grandma Lu, she wouldn't be at a loss. Chapter 940, Great Beauty, Siblings? _7 After all, that old lady didn't have many years left to live. Liu's father was taken aback. Jiao Wentong continued, Haoshan, do you agree? If you don't agree, then well, just drop the matter and pretend that I never said this. Liu's father opened his mouth and said, Our daughter is also her daughter. Isn't it too much trouble to adopt formally? Jiao Wentong shook her head. It's different, Haoshan. I'm a woman too, and I understand too well how much a woman yearns to have a child of her own. Big sister has been alone for so many years, I really feel sorry for her. As she spoke, Jiao Wentong's eyes reddened. Liu's father nodded. Wentong, it's thoughtful of you to consider all this. Since you agree, I have no objections either. Let's do as you say and adopt our Xiaoru out to her. Jiao Wentong took a towel and wiped Liu's father's feet dry. Then I'll go and talk to Xiaoru about this now. All right. Jiao Wentong emptied the footbath, draped on a thin coat and went to look for Lu Ru. After hearing the news, Lu Ru was overjoyed. Mom, are you serious? I can really be adopted by my auntie? It was said that the old lady had many valuable things. If she could be adopted by her, it meant that those things would also belong to her. Could Lu Ru be any less happy about getting something for nothing? It's really possible. Jiao Wentong nodded. Your dad has agreed. Mom, thank you. Lu Ru hugged Jiao Wentong excitedly. You silly child, you're being so formal with your mom? Jiao Wentong smiled tenderly. Having married Lu Haoshan for so many years, her greatest pride was this pair of children. Although Lu Qi always annoyed her, children are thoughtless and besides he was her own flesh and blood, she wouldn't hold it against him. So when can we go see my auntie? Lu Ru continued to ask. Jiao Wentong said, your dad has already had someone check on it, we should know soon, don't rush or you'll spoil it. Lu Ru nodded, I understand. Jiao Wentong continued, Xiaoru, after you meet your auntie, you really need to temper your attitude. Your auntie was brought up with the old society's traditional education and likes those graceful and dignified young ladies. You must not clash with your auntie, it would upset your father. Lu Ru smiled and said, unless I'm crazy I wouldn't clash with auntie. Don't worry, you'll take good care of her. That's good. Jiao Wentong nodded in satisfaction. Truly a daughter she had raised herself, she understood with just a hint. After leaving Lu Ru's room, Liu's father was already asleep in bed. People become like this as they age. Jiao Wentong slightly frowned, pulled back the covers and lay on the other side. The Anai family always ate dinner late. During the meal, Grandma Lu arrived with her cane. Anai Tsuehua quickly stood up and said, have you eaten? If not, come and join us. We've only just started. Anai Yang got up to get some cutlery for Grandma Lu in the kitchen. Grandma Lu stopped Anai Yang's movement. I've eaten, Yang, don't fuss over me. I've come to have a word with you. Anai Yang said, then let's talk over here. Mom, you all keep eating, you'll have a word with Grandma Lu. All right, Anai Tsuehua nodded. Anai Yang and Grandma Lu went over to the living room. Yang, did you go up and see those siblings today? Grandma Lu asked. After all, it concerned her own relatives, so Grandma Lu thought it over for an entire night. She felt she needed to see them at least once. Although the name wasn't correct. What if there were a miracle? For decades, whenever she thought of those people, she could only sustain herself with memories. I've been there, Anai Yang nodded, telling the truth. The parents of those two siblings came too. Their mother called you big sister and said they wanted to take you back to enjoy your old age. Grandma Lu was the person concerned, and she had the right to know the truth. Big sister. How many years had it been since Grandma Lu heard this address? Ever since her younger brother and sister-in-law had passed, she hadn't heard it. For a moment, Grandma Liu's eyes turned slightly red. Yang, after thinking it over, I want to see them. I'm still clear-headed now and won't mistake my own relatives, and if they really are my younger brother and sister-in-law, then we would miss out. Could you arrange a time for us to meet? She was also of quite old age now, and who knew when she might pass away. Before dying, she didn't want to leave with regrets. Anai Yang nodded. Sure, I'll make another trip there tomorrow. All right, Grandma Lu nodded. Then that would trouble you, Yang? Anai Yang smiled. It's no trouble at all, it's what I should do. This is nothing. Anai Yang also hoped that Grandma Lu would find her relatives and then be able to enjoy her sunset years. Having been separated from her family for so many years due to the troubled times, the old lattice life had been too hard. The next day, Anai Yang drove to the address mentioned by Lu's father the day before. When she arrived, Lu Qi was just about to leave the house. Seeing Anai Yang, Lu Qi said in surprise, Comrade, why have you come? Anai Yang smiled slightly. My name is Anai Yang, just call me by my name. It's Grandma Lu who asked me to come. She would like to see you all. Now that Grandma Lu had decided to see them, Anai Yang no longer hid her real name. On hearing this, Lu Qi was overjoyed. Really? Anai Yang nodded. Really? Are your parents free now? If they are, come with me. Lu Qi glanced behind Anai Yang and then asked, Did your family's driver bring you here? I drove here myself, Anai Yang replied. Lu Qi said, You are amazing. My little sister can't even drive. In this era, it was rare for women to drive. Anai Yang didn't continue the topic and then said, Are your parents free now? If not, I can leave the address with you. If they are, I can take you there now to avoid you having trouble finding it later. Lu Qi eagerly nodded. Free. They're free. Come inside with me and I'll go tell my parents right away. They'll be very happy to hear this news. And Yang followed Lu Qi inside. The mansion the Lu family lived in was extraordinarily luxurious. Without certain status and position, one really couldn't live in such a place. The servant was very courteous and hurriedly brewed tea for Yang. Lu Qi then said, Yang, you wait here for a moment, I'll go find my parents. They're upstairs. Okay, Yang nodded. Upstairs. Lu father and Jiao Wentong, upon hearing the news, were very happy. They were planning to sleep in, but now they didn't feel like sleeping anymore and quickly got dressed. Xiaoqi, go call your sister. Got it? Lu Qi went to Zaira's room. Xiaoru also changed her lazy attitude, and upon hearing that they could go to Grandma Liu's place, she got up at once. Knowing Grandma Liu liked the delicate damsel type, she even specifically changed into the cheongsam she had bought last time. After calling everyone, Lu Qi went downstairs, Yang, just wait a little longer, they'll be down soon. Okay, Yang picked up the cup and took a sip of tea. Chapter 941. The truth emerging from the surface. Lu Qi took 2 plates of exquisite pastries from the servant's hands and placed them on the table. These are our Bay Island specialties, pineapple cake and red turtle cake, have a taste. Thank you. Lu Qi sat opposite Yang, unsure of what to do with his hands and feet. This was clearly his home, yet he felt more nervous than Yang. In contrast, Yang showed no hints of strangeness in her expression, her calm demeanor as if she were the hostess. Her presence was naturally awe-inspiring. Such a unique aura could not be mimicked by the average person. Eat the pastries. Lu Qi pushed the pastries towards Yang. With polite insistence, Yang reached for a pineapple cake. The crust was crispy and delicious, the filling soft and sweet. It tastes really good. Lu Qi's face flushed for a moment, somewhat embarrassedly he said, if it's good, feel free to have a few more pieces. Yang's gaze swept inconspicuously in the direction of the staircase. Are your uncle and aunt from inland? Lu Qi first paused, then nodded. Yes, my dad and mom are both from inland. My dad stayed on Bay Island for some irresistible reasons and has now settled in Bay Island, having not returned to Beijing for many years. Do inlanders get used to living in coastal cities? Yang asked. Bay Island is surrounded by sea on all sides, and the climate is very different from the land. It's fine for just traveling, but if you're a native northerner, living in a coastal city would definitely be quite uncomfortable. Lu Qi said, we were born and raised on Bay Island since we were young, and are already used to its climate. My mom was originally from the south anyway, where the climate is similar to Bay Islands. My dad has spent half his life on Bay Island, so even if he wasn't used to it, he should be by now. Yang expressed her surprise. So Auntie is from the south? I'm also from the south. Which part of the south is Auntie from? Dr. Jiang's family is originally from Beijing. Beijing and Haicheng are thousands of kilometers apart. In days before the widespread use of communication technology, people living so far apart would hardly have any connection. Moreover, the chance of being an illegitimate daughter was also not likely. Dr. Jiang went overseas with Zhao Qing 22 years ago, and when she returned to her country 12 years later she was already 34 years old. Dr. Jiang is only 68 years old this year, and although Liu's mother looks young, she must be at least in her 40s or 50s. The ages don't match up. The only possibility is that Liu's mother is Dr. Jiang's younger sister, who had died many years ago, Jiang Ji. Really? Lu Qi responded with astonishment. That is such a coincidence. My mom seems to be from Haicheng City. Yang said with a smile, that is quite a coincidence, I am also from Haicheng City. Haicheng City. Now that's interesting. Tsuehua just happened to be trafficked to Haicheng City. Hearing this, Lu Qi was very excited. What a fortuitous encounter this must be. As the words fell, Yang continued, may I ask what Auntie's last name is? Lu Qi, eager to make an impression in front of Yang, promptly revealed his mother's full name. My mom's name is Jiao Wentong, Jiao as in Yangtze River, Wen as in culture, and Tang as in crabapple. Oh, Yang nodded. There seem to be very few families with the surname Jiao in our village. I was wondering if Auntie might be from the same village as me. My mom is from Xiaomu village, Lu Qi said. Xiaomu village? Yang thought for a moment. I haven't heard of this village, it must be far away from the village we used to live in. In fact, Kuihua's adoptive father's home was in Xiaomu village. Xiaomu village was right next to Dam village. Which village are you from? Lu Qi asked next. I'm from Dam village, Yang said. Oh, Lu Qi scratched his head. I don't think my mom has mentioned this village. The two chatted idly for a while. Soon Liu's parents and Lu Ru came down from the upstairs. Seeing his parents come down, Lu Qi excitedly walked over. Mom, it turns out Anai Yang is also from Haiqing City, your fellow townsman. She is from Dam Village in Haiqing City. Mom, do you know Dam Village? Jiao Wentong first paused, then said, Mom has been away from Haiqing for such a long time now, who would remember that? Hearing this, Anai Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. This Jiao Wentong is quite interesting. If Jiao Wentong really was from Xiaomu village of Haiqing City, she wouldn't be unaware of the neighboring village. Even though time can dilute everything, it never changes the sounds of one's hometown or the longing for it. The only explanation is that Jiao Wentong has some unspeakable secrets. Liu's father approached Anai Yang. Comrade Anai Yang, if I may ask boldly, what is your relation to the child's great-aunt? How should we address you? Chapter 942, The Truth Emerging from the Surface _2. Anai Yen gave a slight smile but did not directly answer Liu's father's question and instead said, Uncle, if you really are Grandma Liu's relatives, she will tell you when the time comes. All right, Liu's father nodded. Let's get going then. It was only then that Lu Ru realized that Anai Yen had also come. Lu Ru was wearing a light blue cheongsam, with a tassel of the same color hanging from the button on the chest side, concealing a translucent, dripping jade stone within the light tassel. Lu Ru had a tall figure. Although her skin was dark, her overall facial features were delicate. This outfit significantly softened her usual aggressive demeanor, giving her a bit of a graceful beauty. However, the person standing opposite her today was Anai Yen. Coincidentally, Anai Yen was also wearing a cheongsam today, a plain white one with a red jade clasp that matched the red edge of her hair clip. As she moved, the jade swayed, shimmering brilliantly. Her eyebrows seemed like distant mountains, not drawn yet naturally dark. Her lips appeared as if dabbed with sand, naturally red without emphasis. With such a dazzling person in front, Lu Ru's beauty seemed somewhat insufficient. Lu Ru tugged at her skirt and looked up at Anai Yen, her eyebrows tightly furrowed. This wretched girl, she must have done it on purpose. Knowing that she was going to wear a cheongsam today, so she followed suit. She wanted to steal her spotlight. Perhaps she wanted to compete for affection as well. She aimed to steal Grandma's love and then take the opportunity to swindle Grandma's property. Shameless. Once she and Grandma recognized each other, she would make Anai Yen stay far away. Anai Yen had better not think about stealing her things. The group walked out of the mansion. There were 2 cars outside, one belonging to the Lu family and one to Anai Yen. Anai Yen walked to her car, opened the door and said, "I'll lead the way." Liu's father was startled. Goodness, this young comrade could even drive. Impressive. All right, thank you, young comrade. Liu's father managed to suppress his astonishment and nodded. Anai Yen got into the car, closed the door, started the engine and drove off, all in one fluid motion, radiating an indescribable coolness. Seeing this, Lu Ru was taken aback. She had thought Anai Yen was just a poor girl. Unexpectedly, she could also drive. Where did she get the money to buy a car? Could it be that she had already swindled Grandma's property? The more Lu Ru thought, the more she believed it was the case. Jiao Wentong and Lu Ru shared the same thought. She couldn't believe that Anai Yen, a mere girl, could afford to buy a car. It seemed that Anai Yen was really something else. To even deceive the old lady out of her money. Jiao Wentong narrowed her eyes. To accommodate the driver following behind, Anai Yen deliberately slowed down. Dad, I want to learn to drive too. Lu Ru shook Liu's father's arm. No, it's too dangerous for girls to drive. Liu's father refused. I want to learn, Daddy, please agree. Lu Ru began to act coquettishly. Daddy, my dear Daddy, Lu Qi hissed. Can you not disgust me? Sheru, take my advice, you really aren't suited to act coquettishly. I'm getting goosebumps all over. Daddy, brother is bullying me. Lu Ru continued her act. Lu Qi was almost at his wit's end and turned on the car radio, turning up the volume. The car sped along, soon arriving at Jinghua village. Unlike the impoverished hinterland imagined, every household in Jinghua village was connected by a concrete road, and workers were installing street lights along the roadsides. Jiao Wentong expressed surprise. There are even street lights in the countryside now. Looking at the scenery outside the window, Liu's father exclaimed, It seems that Beijing has developed much faster than we imagined these past years. Liu's mother added, The environment here is really nice, filled with the scent of birds and flowers. It looks like my elder sister has had a better life here these past years than I imagined. Where we live, many places still don't have street lights. At this moment, street lights were only installed on bustling streets. Liu's father sighed. Seeing that she has been doing well, I feel relieved. The car in front stopped in front of a rundown house. Lu Qi quickly slowed down and pulled over. Ai Yen opened the car door and stepped out. "This is the place, uncle and aunt, please get out." Once out of the car, Liu's father looked at the very dilapidated house in front of him. His eyes slightly reddened and said, "Has she been living in such a place all these years?" When he saw that the village was installing street lights, he had thought that she had been living well these years. Little did he expect that she had been dwelling in such a place. Chapter 943, The Truth Emerging from the Surface _3. She still had some money on her, didn't she? Even in her decline she wouldn't have become like this, right? Liu's father turned his head to look at Ai Yang, and then at the sedan on Ai Yang's left, his eyes growing complicated. The ring she's wearing is a Liu family heirloom. Perhaps even the money for buying the car was. This possibility was indeed high. After all, this is merely a rural place. Where could a countrywoman like Ai Yang get the money to buy a car? Her sedan was imported and would cost at least 100 and several tens of thousands. Ai Yang continued, "Grandma Liu is inside right now, uncle and auntie, please come in with me." Liu's father nodded nonchalantly, "Sure. Wenong Xiaoqi Xiaoru, let's go in quickly." Ai Yang went to knock on the door. Grandma Liu, we're here." "Coming." Grandma Liu responded, opening the door. To welcome relatives from afar, Grandma Liu specially put on new clothes that Ai Yang had bought for her not long ago. The Liu family still kept photos of Grandma Liu from when she was young. Thus, Jiao Wenong recognized Grandma Liu instantly and rushed forward to take her hand. "Big sister." "Great aunt." Lu Ru, following Jiao Wentang's gaze, embraced Grandma Liu tightly, choking out, "Great aunt. Great aunt, we finally found you. You have no idea how much suffering our family has gone through looking for you all these years. Great aunt." Grandma Liu looked at the mother and daughter with tear-filled eyes, her mind filled with confusion. Her little brother was only 2 years younger than her, and his wife was even a year older than him. How could this woman, who was 30 or 40 years younger than herself, possibly be her sister-in-law? No. They must have mistaken her for someone else. Grandma Liu pushed Lu Ru directly away. "Young girl, you've got the wrong person, I'm not your great aunt," she said, then looking up at Jiao Wentong. "And you, young lady, I don't know you. I don't have a younger sister as young as you." Lu Ru had also seen Grandma Liu from the old photos. She paused, never expecting Grandma Liu would push her away. This was very different from what she had imagined a family reunion to be like. After so many years of separation, Grandma Liu should have been deeply moved to see them. Why would she react like this? Could it be that the old woman had become senile? Or had Ai Yang stirred up something in the middle? Lu Ru looked up at Ai Yang. Jiao Wentong grabbed Grandma Liu's hand again. "You are my big sister. I haven't mistaken you. We wouldn't make a mistake. You really have the wrong person." Grandma Liu shook off Jiao Wentang's hand. As Jiao Wentong stood there awkwardly, Liu's father stepped forward. "Shui, it's me." At these words, Grandma Liu looked up, her pupils shrunk slightly, and memories that had been sealed away surged forth like floodwater through open gates, her nostrils flaring. "Chinian. It's me." Liu's father had taken a few steps forward, wanting to reach out and embrace Grandma Liu, but seeing the environment behind her, he withdrew his hand and choked out, "Shui, it's me." Time had aged them, and now they faced each other, unable to turn back the years. Old friends reunited. So much had changed in the world over the years. "Chinian, where have you been all these years?" Grandma Liu immediately cried out, throwing her arms around Lu Chinian. "I thought you were dead. Chinian, I thought you were dead." 60 years. Every day she offered incense for Lu Chinian, never imagining that Lu Chinian was still alive. He was still alive. Grandma Liu even thought she might be dreaming. "Shui, I've wronged you, I've deeply wronged you. I thought you were dead, I'm sorry, so sorry." Watching the two old people embracing each other, Ai Yang frowned slightly. Although Grandma Liu had recognized the person, she felt that there was something more complicated about this matter. According to Lu Qi, Liu's father should be called Lu Haoshan. Why was he now called Lu Chinian? Grandma Liu wept bitterly. "I thought you were dead too. Heaven has eyes, Chinian, you're still alive. You're still alive." The most agonizing thing in the world is not death but separation. Had they known earlier that the other was alive, they wouldn't have suffered as they did. "Chinian, you're still alive, but what about big brother and second brother? Are they still here?" Grandma Liu went on to ask. Lu Chinian shook his head. "They're gone?" In such chaotic times, it was very difficult to survive. Lu Chinian was just one of the fortunate few. Hearing this, Grandma Liu wept even more bitterly, continuously pounding on Lu Chinian's back. Jiao Wentong immediately came to the side of the two, her eyes red. Big sister, I'm sorry for all the suffering you've endured over the years. Let me and the children take good care of you from now on. Chapter 944. The Truth Emerging from the Surface _4. The sudden joy made Granny Liu's head spin. Qinian, who is this? Could it be a relative from Lu Qinian's family? Lu Qinian turned to look at Ni Yang, hesitating. There are some things I can't say in front of outsiders. Granny Lu wiped her tears. Yang is not an outsider, she's no different from my own granddaughter. Just say it directly, you don't need to hesitate. Lu Qinian remained silent. In his eyes, Ni Yang was an outsider. Ni Yang wasn't the kind of person who couldn't read the room. She smiled and said, Granny Lu, I still have some issues at home to handle, he'll come and visit you later. Granny Lu grabbed Ni Yang's hand. Yang, you don't have to leave. Having Ni Yang leave at such a moment would only hurt her feelings. Granny Lu genuinely didn't consider Ni Yang an outsider. Zhao Shuiwei. Liu's father's expression clearly seemed off. Seeing this, Ni Yang still decided to leave. If she insisted on staying, it would make her uncomfortable, and so would the Lu family. Besides, their home was close to Granny Liu's. If anything really happened, she could still rush over to help her. After Ni Yang left, Liu's father sighed in relief. Granny Lu pushed open the half-closed door. Come in and sit with me. The house was dilapidated, but it was kept very clean, and there was even a TV in the living room. Jiao Wentong carefully surveyed the environment. The fact that there was a 3,000 yuan TV showed that the old woman still had a fair amount of money. Granny Lu was busy pouring water for everyone. Jiao Wentong hurried over to help. Let me help you with that, sister. The tea set at Granny Liu's was quite old, though clean, making Liu's father somewhat hesitant to drink from it. He hadn't used such worn-out cups in many years. Considering the state of the house, who knew if it had been crawled over by rats? Liu's father was hesitant, and Lu Ru, who was used to living comfortably, was even more so. Lu Qi, however, didn't mind. He was thirsty and picked up the cup to drink. Auntie, this tea is wonderful. Is it barley tea? Granny Lu nodded and smiled. Yes, it's barley tea. If you like it, I can pack some for you to take when you leave. I have plenty here. With that, Granny Lu turned to Liu's father. Qinian, can you talk now? Who are these children to you? How have you really been all these years? Hearing this, Liu's father sighed deeply, his face full of pain. He began to talk about his difficult past years, how he braved gunfire and crossed seas alone to reach Taiwan Island, and there achieved some success. Thankfully, in my most difficult and helpless times, I met Wentong. Wentong is a good woman. She didn't mind my age or that I had been married before, and she took great care of me. Without her, I might have died. After we got married, Wentong gave birth to 2 children, one named Lu Qi and the other Lu Ru. Xiaoqi Xiaoru, come and greet your auntie. Hello, auntie. Lu Qi and Lu Ru approached Granny Lu. Granny Lu was stunned. She hadn't expected Lu Qinian to have remarried. Not only had he remarried, but he also had 2 children. Her years of waiting seemed at that moment to become a joke. Hearing this, Granny Lu staggered backwards, nearly falling, but Lu Qi promptly steadied her. Auntie, are you all right? I'm fine. Granny Lu waved her hand and looked up at Lu Qi. Child, do you know what my last name is? Lu. Lu Qi guessed. It should be Lu, right? Otherwise, why would Ni Yang call her Granny Lu? No. Granny Lu shook her head, her tone ambiguous between sadness and joy. My surname is Zhao Shuiwei. I called myself by the Lu surname because my late husband was a Lu. Yes, Lu Qinian was her husband. They were a couple who had gone through the formal wedding rites. Old-time women adhered to the principle of following their husband, and after his death, their son. Especially for Zhao Shuiwei, coming from a prominent family, this concept was deeply ingrained. War took her family and husband, and a famine forced her to leave the place she had grown up in, to live incognito in Jinghua village, assuming the name Lu Zhao. Nobody knew that she had had her own name. She was Zhao Shuiwei. Chapter 945. The Truth Emerging from the Surface _5. But she had never lived for herself. By the time she learned the truth, she already had one foot in the King Yama Hall. How did it come to this? Seeing Zhao Shuiwei like this, Lu Qinian panicked. Shuiwei, don't be like this. I'm not dead, I haven't died. I'm still alive, I know I've wronged you all these years. But I couldn't help it, it was all due to the circumstances. Zhao Shuiwei looked at Lu Qinian with a desolate gaze. So, what have you come here for today? Are you here to boast that you now have a son and a daughter while I've lived like a joke? Lu Qinian, ask yourself, has the Zhao family ever mistreated you? What did you promise my father? Since you're still alive, why didn't you come looking for me? Looking at your clothes, it doesn't seem like it's because you couldn't afford to, right? Some people would be better off dead. All these years, if Lu Qinian had truly wanted to find her, he would not have failed to do so. But Lu Qinian hadn't. Not only had he not, but he had also remarried. How ironic all of this was. Back then, Lu Qinian was just a destitute beggar too poor to eat, fainting at the doorstep of the Zhao family. It was old Master Zhao who took pity on him, picked up the half-dead Lu Qinian, and later took him in as a son-in-law. Unfortunately, the good times didn't last long. The couple had been married for hardly half a year before war broke out. The entire Zhao family, over 200 people, were either killed or fled, in the end leaving only Zhao Shiyue alone. Shiyue, I've wronged you. I apologize to you. Lu Qinian immediately knelt on the ground. Shiyue, please forgive me. From now on, my children with Wentong will be your children, they will take good care of you, and moreover, Wentong said she wants to give Xiaoru to you as an adopted child. Lu Ru also knelt down. Auntie, please forgive my father. He had no other choice. I assure you, from now on, you'll be my own mother, and when you pass on, I will carry the funeral banner and smash the bowls for you. Carrying the funeral banner and smashing the bowls is a custom after an elder's death, generally performed by the eldest son. However, in the absence of a son, a daughter can also do it, and it is usually the person who performs these rites who inherits all of the elder's wealth. This old woman was so rich, of course she wanted to inherit her wealth. Jiao Wentong too knelt down, dragging Lu Qi with her. Big sister, I know all of this is my fault. It was me who pitted Haoshan. It was me who shamelessly wanted to marry him. If you mind my existence, I can divorce Haoshan. Big sister, as long as you're willing to forgive Haoshan, I'm willing to do anything. The whole family was kneeling neatly in front of Zhao Shiyue, their sincerity evident. Grandma Lu turned away. My husband Lu Qinian died 60 years ago. I do not know any of you, please leave. 60 years. She would have preferred it if Lu Qinian had never lived at all. Shiyue, you can't be so heartless, Lu Qinian pleaded, holding on to Zhao Shiyu's legs. I know I've wronged you, but who in this life doesn't make a single mistake? Lu Qinian continued. Shiyue, I know these years have been hard for you, but I hope you can also understand me. Think about it, in our parents' generation who didn't have multiple wives and concubines. Without you by my side, I couldn't just watch the Lu family lineage die out. And I truly didn't know you were alive. If I had known, I certainly wouldn't have done this. Shiyue, please give me a chance to make it up to you. I really know I was wrong. In that era, not to mention Zhao Shiyu's parents, even her brothers had multiple wives and concubines. He might have been guilty, but his crime was not worthy of death. Auntie, Lu Ru tugged at Zhao Shiyu's sleeve. They say a man's knees are gold, and now my father and brother have both knelt before you. Come back with us. From now on, I'll make sure you live in a big house, eat the best foods. Zhao Shiyue closed her eyes. Go back, I don't know you. Auntie. Lu Ru grasped Zhao Shiyue tightly. I'm not your auntie. Zhao Shiyue's voice trembled slightly. Lu Qinian went on. Shiyue, we're both of advanced age now. What's there that we can't forgive? There is only this one life, no afterlife. I hope you can understand that. I believe if our parents were still alive, they too would understand me. They wouldn't want to see the Lu family's line end. Chapter 946. The Truth Emerging from the Surface _6. Shiyue, under those circumstances, it wasn't that I didn't want to come back to find you, but I simply couldn't come back. And besides, I thought you had died. Just like you thought I had died too. Shiyue, all I did was find someone to take care of myself. Do I really deserve to die for that? If dying can let you let go of your hatred for me, then go ahead and kill me. With that, Lu Qinian pulled out the short dagger strapped to his waist and handed it to Zhao Shiyue. Lu Qinian knew Zhao Shiyue very well. She was the type with a harsh tongue but a soft heart, one who couldn't be approached with force but rather needed her heart gently won over. Zhao Shiyue took the dagger and fiercely stabbed it towards Lu Qinian's chest. The other 3 people nearby were all startled. But Lu Qinian didn't even try to dodge. He knew Zhao Shiyue wouldn't go through with it. Bang! Dash! Just as Lu Qinian had expected, the dagger in Zhao Shiyue's hand fell to the ground. Shiyue, forgive me. Lu Qinian seized the opportunity to embrace Zhao Shiyue. Shiyue, give me a chance to atone. Big sister, from now on, you're the elder and I'm the younger. Jiao Wentong stood up and said, if you don't like me, I can even divorce Haoshan. Zhao Shiyue hugged Lu Qinian and began to cry loudly. She really wanted to forgive and forget with Lu Qinian, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. Perhaps it wasn't Lu Qinian's fault, but the fault of the times. No need, Zhao Shuiwa shook her head. You and he are legally married, you don't need to divorce. Big sister, thank you. Jiao Wenong took Zhao Shuyu's hand. Haoshan often says that you are a good woman, and he was right. Big sister, you really are a good person. Zhao Shuiwa didn't say a word. Jiao Wenong continued, Big sister, from now on Xiaoqi and Xiaoru are your own children. When we go back, I will let you adopt Xiaoru. Go back. Zhao Shuiwa frowned. Go back where? Jiao Wenong said with a smile. Of course, to bring big sister back to Bay Island to enjoy the good life. We've finally found you, big sister. How can we let you continue to live a hard life here? Jiao Wenong had been paying close attention for a long time, and sure enough, Zhao Shuiwa was indeed from a wealthy family. Even the hairpin she used to twist up her hair was no ordinary item. After they returned, they would find a way to get Zhao Shuiwa to bring out all those nice things. Zhao Shuiwa shook her head. I'm not leaving. Why? Jiao Wenong asked. Zhao Shuiwa replied, I've lived in Jinghua village my entire life, this is my home. You all go back. There's no need to come looking for me again. I'm doing very well here. Lu Ru grew anxious. If this old woman didn't go back with them, what would become of all those good things? Would they all fall into an Ai Yang's hands? That was unacceptable. Auntie, please come back with us. I promise I will treat you like my own mother from now on and take good care of you. You don't have any relatives or friends here. If something happens, no one will even know. Zhao Shuiwa shook her head. The villagers are good to me, you don't have to worry about this. Besides, isn't there Yang Yang? That child is just like my own granddaughter. Just as Jiao Wenong was about to say more, she was silenced by a look from Lu Qinian. Lu Qinian continued, I'm sorry Shuiwa for all the hardship you've endured these years. I really do want to make it up to you. Won't you consider coming back with me? Zhao Shuiwa shook her head again. You go back by yourselves. Lu Qinian sighed and exchanged a few more pleasantries. The family of four stayed at Zhao Shuyu's home until evening before leaving. When they left, Lu Qinian secretly placed 1,000 yuan under Zhao Shuyu's bed. He knew Zhao Shuiwa didn't lack money, which is why 10 or 20 yuan would never catch her eye, so he decided to leave 1,000. Hoping it might sooner touch Zhao Shuyu's heart so she would return with him. As soon as they got home, Jiao Wenong said angrily, Haoshan, why did you stop me from speaking my mind at Big Sister's house this afternoon? That little girl in Ai Yang is nothing but a con artist. She's trying to trick Big Sister out of her things. And to think Big Sister treats her like her own granddaughter. Besides, what right does an outsider have to take our family heirloom? Lu Ru was indignant. Exactly. What right does that cheap girl in Ai Yang have to take our family heirloom? Those things are all mine. If it hadn't been for Lu Qinian's intervention today, she would have exposed Ai Yang for who she really is right in front of Zhao Shuiwa. Chapter 947. The truth emerging from the surface. Under 7 Lu Qinian spoke earnestly. What I'm doing is called casting a long line to catch a big fish. Do you think I can't see what kind of person Ai Yang is? The car she drove today might have been funded by Zhao Shuiwa. But some issues can't be rushed. Looking at Zhao Shuyu's attitude, it's clear she hasn't fully accepted us yet, so we must take it slow and not be too definitive in our approach. Upon hearing this, Lu Ru instantly understood. Dad, you are wise. Jiao Wenong also smiled. Lu Qinian continued, our family used to be very wealthy, the richest in the area, and I heard from Zhao Shuyu's father that to prevent our family from declining, our ancestors secretly hid a stash of gold, silver, and precious treasures during the Kangxi period. Before Lu Qinian finished his sentence, Lu Ru excitedly exclaimed, Dad! Are you serious? She had thought that the jade bracelet was the most valuable treasure Zhao Shuiwa had, but it turned out there was a gold mine in her hands. Jiao Wenong was also excited, though she didn't show it. Lu Qinian nodded. It's true, otherwise I wouldn't have gone through such effort to find her. In any case, this treasure must not end up in Ai Yang's hands. So, these next few days, we must visit her daily to try and find that treasure map sooner. So many years had passed, and if Lu Qinian hadn't suddenly remembered the gold mine, he wouldn't have come looking for Zhao Shuiwa. He had a wife and children, living such a happy life, why would he bother stirring trouble? As far as he knew, the gold mine that Zhao Shuiwa possessed was enough to secure many generations of his descendants a carefree life. Lu Qinian had even lined up foreign buyers. Jiao Wenong nodded. Just then Lu Qi parked the car and walked in. Mom, Dad, what were you just talking about? Nothing, Jiao Wenong replied. Her son was simple-minded, never engaging in anything underhanded. If he found out about the treasure map, the whole plan would be ruined. Thus she couldn't tell him the truth. After the Lu family left, and Yang, carrying the food, arrived at Zhao Shiyu's home. Grandma Lu, and Yang knocked on the door. Zhao Shiyue opened the door from inside. Yang is here. As the two of them entered, and Yang noticed a slight redness around Zhao Shiyu's eyes and asked, "Grandma Lu, are you all right?" Zhao Shiyue shook her head. "I'm already 1 foot in the grave, what can be wrong with me? But Yang, from now on, can you call me Grandma Zhao instead?" Huh. And Yang was puzzled, failing to grasp Zhao Shiyue's meaning. Zhao Shiyue sighed. Yang, actually my surname is Zhao, my name is Zhao Shiyue. And Yang had known Zhao Shiyue for so long and only now discovered that her surname was not Lu but Zhao. Zhao Shiyue further explained why she had previously claimed she belonged to the Lu family. Lu Qinian, who visited today, he and I had gone through a wedding ceremony 60 years ago. Mentioning it again, Zhao Shiyue was no longer resentful but spoke about it very calmly. And Yang frowned slightly. This was just like a real-life version of the story of Wang Baochuan and Xue Pingue. Wang Baochuan endured the bitter cold for 18 years. But Xue Pingue lived a life of glory and wealth for 18 years, and even enjoyed the carefree life of a royal consort. This was just too unfair for Zhao Shiyue. 60 years. A lifetime for a woman. How could he do such a thing? And he still had the audacity to acknowledge Zhao Shiyue. "Grandma Zhao, are you really forgiving them?" And Yang found it hard to believe. Zhao Shiyue smiled slightly. "The past is the past, I don't have many years left to live anyway, why hold a grudge against them? It's done." This must have been a dream she had in this mortal world. "Don't you think this is too unfair to you? Wang Baochuan waited in the cold cave for 18 years, but at least she ended up becoming the empress for 18 days. What about you? What did you get? You lost a whole 60 years of youth. How many 60 years does a woman have?" And Yang was really angry. She was truly angry. Why should such a good person like Zhao Shiyue suffer like this? Why should she endure all this pain? As a woman from the 21st century, and Yang really couldn't stand seeing this. Zhao Shiyue patted Yang's hand. Yang, I'm not angry anymore, you shouldn't be either. Now I just think of that Lu Qinian as a naive younger brother. The Lu Qishan who married me in the ceremony long ago is already dead. Mrs. Zhao. He committed bigamy. He abandoned his lawful wife. He has to bear legal responsibility. Zhao Shiyue shook her head. Yang, that all belongs to a past era for me. Now Jiao Wentong is his lawful wife. If it really came to investigating it, I'm the one who would be considered the home wrecker. There were no marriage certificates in the old era, and they didn't have children either. They are not protected by the laws of the new era. And Yang sighed deeply, her eyes reddening. But it hurts me to see what you've been through. 60 whole years. Zhao Shiyue had spent 60 years just to end up with this result. Feeling her nose sting, Zhao Shiyue reached out and hugged Yang. "Silly child, Grandma is okay, I am living well, there's nothing to feel sorry for. All my family died in the chaos of the old times. In a way, he is the only kin I have left in this world." With Grandma Zhao having said that, Yang didn't feel it was her place to say much more. Some things, like a fish knows the warmth or coldness of the water, are known only to the individual. "Mrs. Zhao, if his family ever dares to bully you or disrespect you again, just tell me. They'll stand up for you." Certainly, Zhao Shiyue nodded her head. The next day the Lu family came early, not bringing Lu Qi this time but just Lu Qinian, Jiao Wentong and Lu Ru. Lu Ru came carrying 2 big bags of clothes saying, "Auntie, look, these are clothes I bought for you. Please go in and try them on to see if they fit well." Okay, Zhao Shiyue took the clothes. With her conflicts resolved, Zhao Shiyue didn't feel the need to show any displeasure towards Lu Ru. Since it was the thoughtfulness of the child, she wouldn't refuse. Lu Ru exchanged a glance with Jiao Wentong, then continued, "Auntie, let me accompany you inside to change." It wasn't long before Lu Ru and Zhao Shiyue came out in the new clothes. Jiao Wentong said with a smile, "Xiaoru has a good eye, just look at how fitting these dresses are for sister." Lu Qinian nodded, "Indeed they are very fitting." Zhao Shiyue continued, "Actually you don't need to buy clothes for me, Yang also often buys me clothes and I can't even wear them all." Upon mentioning Yang, Lu Qinian's lips twitched, then he continued, "Shiyue, did you give our family heirloom to Yang?" Zhao Shiyue nodded, "Yes, Yang and I have a connection, and since you neither take the heirloom with you at birth nor can you take it with you in death, it's better gifted to Yang. That old hag, she actually really gave that bracelet to Yang. I wonder if she also gave that treasure map to Yang." Lu Qinian continued, "That bracelet is our family's heirloom after all, how could you just casually give it away to an outsider?" Chapter 948. A heartless and ungrateful wretch. Outsider? Zhao Shuyue looked up at Lu Qinian, her face showing a trace of indignation. Yang Yang is not an outsider. Had it not been for Ni Yang, she would have died long ago. In Zhao Shuyu's heart, Ni Yang was definitely not an outsider. Ni Yang held a much more important place than the entire Lu Qinian family. Upon hearing this, Lu Qinian naturally felt uncomfortable. Not an outsider? What was Ni Yang if not an outsider? Could that girl Ni Yang possibly be more important than their whole family? Bear in mind, their family was Zhao Shuyu's only kin in this world. What on earth was Zhao Shuyue thinking? What was Ni Yang anyway? Suppressing the anger within, Lu Qinian forced a smile and said, "My point is, after all, Ni Yang bears the surname Ni. She's an outsider. Giving our family heirloom to her seems a bit inappropriate." Zhao Shuyue replied, "Yang Yang is like my own granddaughter. Possessions can't be carried with us in life or death, and I have a connection with Yang Yang, so giving them to her couldn't be more fitting." Her own granddaughter? Lu Ru's face contorted with anger upon hearing this. She had treated Zhao Shuyue so well, yet Zhao Shuyue gave her nothing. That bracelet should have been hers. By what right did Ni Yang steal what was hers? Could this cursed old hag not tell her own kin from outsiders anymore? With these words, Lu Qinian's expression changed subtly, and he said in a roundabout manner, "Still, an outsider is an outsider." Zhao Shuyue responded with a smile, "Outsider or not, in my heart, Yang Yang is one of our own. Sometimes blood relatives are not as close as those outside the family. Besides, I now have no other relatives." According to Zhao Shuyu's words, was Lu Ru less significant than Ni Yang, an outsider? She would rather give the bracelet to Ni Yang than to Lu Ru. But that bracelet was the Lu family's heirloom. Zhao Shuyue had married into the family 60 years ago. She was a member of the Lu family. How could she give something from the Lu family to an outsider? Did she even consider her husband any more in her heart? Lu Qinian almost couldn't contain his anger, but he still tried to control his emotions. The current situation deemed the gold mine and the treasure map more important. He couldn't afford to fall out with Zhao Shuyue. The former Zhao Shuyue had been understanding, knowledgeable, and dignified. Why had she become like this now? She was just a stubborn, reclusive, peculiar old woman. She deserved to have been a widow for so many years. It was karma. Lu Qinian steered away from the subject. "Shuyue, you're getting on in years, and it's not good to be without someone to look after you. If you don't wish to come back with us for the time being, why not let Xiaoru stay with you? She may be young, but she has a filial heart and will surely take good care of you." Ni Yang mustn't continue to be close to Zhao Shuyue. Otherwise, their family's treasure map would one day be swindled away by Ni Yang. He needed to have Lu Ru step in first, to act preemptively and win the heart. Lu Ru promptly clung to Zhao Shuyu's arm. Yes, let me stay to take care of you. Rest assured, I promise to be obedient, to honor you better than my own mother, and not to make you angry." "No need," Zhao Shuyue waved her hand. "I am very healthy and can look after myself. Plus, Yang Yang visits me often, I will be fine." Ni Yang. Again Ni Yang. Why couldn't she just leave them alone? Jiao Wentong narrowed his eyes, smiling. "Sister, it's not good to trouble someone else so much. Let Xiaoru stay and take care of you. She gets along with you, and if you're willing, Haoshan and I have discussed it, we can go through the adoption process in the next few days." After Lu Ru became Zhao Shuyu's daughter in the eyes of the law, she would naturally inherit everything from Zhao Shuyue. Zhao Shuyue had no children of her own in this life, and when the time came, Lu Ru would be her sole heir. Ni Yang would have to stand aside. Jiao Wentang's calculations were resounding like a burst of rapid fire. Zhao Shuyue shook her head. "I appreciate your sentiment, but at my age, what do I need a daughter for? Besides, that child Yang Yang is like my own granddaughter to me. Having a daughter or not doesn't matter." She didn't count on a daughter to see her through old age and to provide for her end-of-life care. Zhao Shuyu's every other sentence involved Ni Yang, and Jiao Wentong was taken aback, having not expected this reaction from her, much less her refusal. Chapter 949. A Heartless and Ungrateful Villain. She was willing to adopt out her own daughter, who she had carried for 10 months, to Zhao Shuyue. Shouldn't Zhao Shuyue be grateful? It's not something anyone can easily decide, to adopt their daughter out to someone else. Lu Qinian was also stunned. Lu Ru was his treasured daughter. If it were someone else, he wouldn't bear to adopt Lu Ru out. Zhao Shuyue is really ungrateful. Could it be that she really wanted to keep all the good things for Ni Yang? That isn't acceptable. Just then, noise came from outside the door. "Grandma Zhao? Yang Yang is here." A smile appeared on Zhao Shuyu's face as she walked towards the door. She looked as if she were seeing a beloved relative. Even her expression when seeing Lu Ru was never this joyful. This showed how special an Yang was in Zhao Shuyu's heart. Lu Qinian and Jiao Wentong exchanged glances, both seeing displeasure in each other's eyes. Yes, they both hated an Yang. They were afraid an Yang would take what rightfully belonged to them. This little girl an Yang was unrelated to Zhao Shuyue. Why should she be so good to Zhao Shuyue? She was clearly aiming for Zhao Shuyu's possessions. It was disgraceful. At such a young age she was already so scheming. Who knows how her family raised her? Hao Shan, what should we do? Jiao Wentong looked at Lu Qinian and asked in a low voice. Lu Qinian looked towards the door. Let's see how things unfold for now. Don't antagonize her. Jiao Wentong nodded. Zhao Shuyue welcomed her, and indeed, an Yang had arrived. An Yang was holding a big round watermelon in her arms. Grandma Zhao, this watermelon was grown by our family. It's also the first crop of the year, very sweet. My mom said you would definitely like it. Like all elderly people, Zhao Shuyue loved sweet things, so an Yang often brought her pastries and fruits. Zhao Shuyue smiled and said, Yang, there are many people in your family and I am alone. I can't eat such a big watermelon. You should take it back. As they spoke, they walked into the house. An Yang placed the watermelon on the table. We picked a lot. Giving you one still leaves us with 7 or 8. If you can't finish it, I can help you juice it. You can chill it in the well and drink it slowly. After finishing her sentence, an Yang then noticed Lu Qinian and the others had arrived. Uncle and Auntie are here too. An Yang greeted them proactively. Although she didn't particularly like Lu Qinian's family, they were still close with Zhao Shuyue, and she didn't want Zhao Shuyue to feel awkward by not greeting them. Jiao Wentong got up and laughing said, Yang, you are really filial, bringing such a big watermelon. If someone who didn't know any better saw this, they might think you are my big sister's own granddaughter. With that, she added meaningfully, I guess even her real granddaughter isn't as filial as you? The words carried a layer of sarcasm. As the saying goes, unsolicited favors indicate an ulterior motive. She was hinting that an Yang had ulterior motives. If Zhao Shuyue was smart enough, she would definitely understand her meaning. Just afraid that old lady Zhao Shuyue was a fool. In fact, Zhao Shuyue really didn't pick up on the hostility in Jiao Wentong's words. Because an Yang was all virtues in her heart, hearing Jiao Wentong praising an Yang made her quite pleased. An Yang smiled faintly, her tone light. Auntie is joking. Respecting the elderly and loving the young is a traditional Chinese virtue. One should not be the type of heartless person who discards his wife and steals another's husband. If Jiao Wentong had kept a low profile, it might have been alright, but unfortunately Jiao Wentong's words had thorns. An Yang was not one to suffer in silence. Whoever made her uncomfortable, she would return the favor. If she continued to swallow insults, the other party might think she was easy to bully. Zhao Shuyue finally caught on to Jiao Wentong's sarcasm and felt somewhat displeased. Luckily, an Yang was quick-witted and fired back immediately. With that response, Jiao Wentong's face instantly changed. What a sharp-tongued little girl. To dare to say such things. Lu Qinian's expression also turned very unsightly. No matter what his shortcomings, it wasn't up to a little girl to criticize him. What was an Yang really? Did she really think that because Zhao Shuyue liked her, she was truly Zhao Shuyu's granddaughter? As long as he was alive, that would never be possible. An outsider will always be an outsider. Chapter 950. A heartless and disloyal villain. Hey, what nonsense are you spouting? Lu Ru stood up angrily. An Yang slightly raised her eyebrows and retorted, Isn't respecting the elderly and loving the young a traditional Chinese virtue? Isn't abandoning one's wife and snatching someone else's husband heartless? Am I making this up? You don't understand. My parents had their reasons. They are not heartless people. Lu Ru couldn't stand Yang's sarcastic comments about her parents. Men, how many are not flirtatious? Having 3 wives and 4 concubines is quite normal. Besides, her dad did not have many women. He was involved with only 2 in total. And being born in troubled times, they were involuntary in their actions. Why did Yang have to rub salt in the wounds? Was that satisfying? Yang smiled faintly and spoke indifferently. Miss Lu, I didn't specifically name anyone. Why are you in such a hurry to take it personally? Throughout, she had not mentioned Jiao Wentong and Lu Qinian at all. It was Lu Ru who was in a hurry to take it personally. Stifled, Lu Ru's face turned red, overwhelmed with anger. Jiao Wentong turned to look at Lu Ru, his face wearing a smile, seemingly unaffected by Yang's words. Yang is truly a clever girl, And so beautiful like a fairy? No wonder my sister likes you so much. Who wouldn't like such a girl? Unlike our Xiaoru here, honest and simple, clumsy as a bear. Honest and simple Lu Ru was no match for Ni Yang. Even if Ni Yang sold Lu Ru off, Lu Ru wouldn't know. Jiao Wentang's comment was still a hidden jab, potentially deeply wounding. Unfortunately, Ni Yang wore a coat of armor today and took Jiao Wentang's praise without hesitation. Thank you for the compliment, auntie. I think so too. Jiao Wentang choked. How could she respond to that? That wretched girl. She wanted to mock Ni Yang but ended up praising her instead. Jiao Wentang wished she could slap herself several times. Keep your mouth in check. Absolutely infuriating. Zhao Shuyue suppressed the urge to laugh and came out from the inner room with a piece of pure white cloth and handed it to Ni Yang. Yang, I've repaired the embroidery you asked me to do. Is this all right? Though Zhao Shuyue was old, her eyesight was still excellent. She often helped Ni Yang with embroidery and mending, and Ni Yang never refused Zhao Shuyue's assistance. She even frequently sought her help. Zhao Shuyue, with her bound feet, couldn't do heavy chores and being elderly lacked the strength, so she mostly engaged in sewing and mending. Ni Yang didn't want Zhao Shuyue to feel her life had lost its purpose. So she often sought Zhao Shuyue's help, allowing her to live a fuller life. And moderate embroidery, maintaining some mental activity, could also prevent dementia. Zhao Shuyue was also happy to help Ni Yang. Only during embroidery did she truly enjoy life. Ni Yang looked at the embroidery and saw the lifelike stitches on the white cloth. The embroidery was exquisitely done. Zhao Shuyue deserved her reputation as a maiden trained in an affluent household. Her embroidery skills were impeccable. Grandma Zhao, your embroidery is so beautiful. Ni Yang praised generously. Zhao Shuyue smiled. Not at all, you just like to flatter me. Ni Yang said, it's truly beautiful. I couldn't learn this craft no matter how many times I tried. Under Jiao Wentang's eye signal, Lu Ru came over and said in surprise, Auntie, at your age, why do you still do such handicraft work? It's so harmful to the eyes. Why don't you come back with us? I promise you won't have to do a thing. We'll treat you to the best of foods and take good care of you, allowing you to live a life like a fairy. Ni Yang was really heartless, using Zhao Shuyue's bracelets and spending Zhao Shuyue's money, yet still making Zhao Shuyue work for her. How could there be such shameless people as Ni Yang in this world? Lu Qinian stood up and said, Xiaoru is right, this embroidery is too straining on the eyes, it's not suitable for you. Shuyue, you should come back with us. We have a nanny at home who can take care of you specially. Moreover, it's not convenient for you in the countryside. If you want to buy something, you have to go to town. We live in the city center now, you can buy whatever you want, eat whatever you want. Besides, the countryside is not as lively as the city. Later, let Xiaoru keep you company in Beijing city center, and then we can all go to Taiwan Island. Chapter 951. A Heartless and Ungrateful Wretch. _4. Bay Island is an island where it's spring all year round, and the scenery is picturesque. There are many fruits and seafood here that you can't find in Beijing. I think you'd definitely fall in love with the place. Lu Qinian had figured it out. This Ni Yang might have known about the village with the treasure map all along, which is why she deliberately got close to Zhao Shuyue, to win Zhao Shuyue's favor. What's most important now is to get Zhao Shuyue out of here as soon as possible, to leave Ni Yang, this person with ulterior motives, empty-handed. Zhao Shuyue didn't pick up on the hidden meaning in the father and daughter's words and said with a smile, although I'm getting on in years, I'm not blind. Embroidering a little flower is no big deal. No golden sand or silver nest compares to my own dog kennel. I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying in Jinghua village. No matter how good Bay Island may be, it's not the place that gave birth to her or raised her. She feels no attachment to that place and has no desire to pine for it. When you get old, you just want to settle down to your roots, not to wander back and forth drifting everywhere. Won't you be without anyone to take care of you if you stay here? Lu Qinian asked earnestly. Bay Island is really very nice, Shuyue. I couldn't follow you around when we were young, but I truly hope you'll give me a chance to make it up to you. Besides, we're husband and wife who have taken our wedding vows. Husband and wife are one body, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. What's yours is mine and what's mine is yours. He said it with such artfulness. I don't need anyone to take care of me, Zhao Shuyue continued. Besides, I've gotten by just fine without you for 60 years. But what if you meet with some accident while you're alone? What then? Lu Qinian countered. Zhao Shuyue said with a smile, if something happens there's still Yang Yang. Don't look down on Yang Yang for being young. Her medical skills are very good. How is it Ni Yang again? Lu Qinian was infuriated but couldn't show it. How can we always trouble comrade and I Yang? After all, we are the real family. Family? Lu Qinian had abandoned Zhao Shuye for 60 years, and now he had the nerve to say such a thing. Does he still want to have his cake and eat it too? And I Yang responded indifferently, Uncle, rest assured, since I call Grandma Zhao Grandma, I don't consider her an outsider. As long as she is willing, I will take care of her until the end of her days. And I Yang's words were meant to show Lu Qinian that Zhao Shuye was not a poor, lonely old lady without anyone to rely on. If Zhao Shuye really went with Lu Qinian, given the characters of Jiao Wentong and Lu Ru, would she have good days ahead? Not a chance. Hearing this, Zhao Shuye looked at N.I. Yang, her eyes slightly moist. The feeling of having younger generations to rely on was really wonderful. If it weren't for N.I. Yang, she wouldn't have had such strong confidence to face Lu Qinian. At least she wasn't alone now. Lu Qinian was choked up again. Take care of her until the end of her days? Why should N.I. Yang take care of Zhao Shuye until the end of her days? Does she have even a scent of relationship with Zhao Shuye? She's clearly eyeing Zhao Shuye's gold mine. Lu Qinian had lived a good half of his life but had never seen anyone as shameless as N.I. Yang, managing to make greedy avarice sound so refined and noble. Zhao Shuye is a fool to have been deceived by such a young girl. Such are her ways, yet she claims to be from a rich family. Truly, she's tarnished the Lu family's reputation completely. Noticing the uneasy atmosphere, Jiao Wentong smoothed things over with a smile. Big sister has lived here for so many years, it's normal for her to not want to leave for the time being. Don't worry, if you don't wish to return, we won't force you. Our family's door is always open to you, and you're welcome to return whenever you want. Jiao Wentong was a smart person. She knew not to push too hard at this moment. She was making a strategic retreat. After all, Zhao Shuye, that old hag, had in her hands a treasure map worth a fortune. She needed to coax Zhao Shuye for now. Once she got that treasure map, she would make Zhao Shuye regret her actions today. Zhao Shuye nodded in agreement. The three members of the Lu family stayed with Zhao Shuye for a long time, and when they left in the evening, they insisted on leaving Lu Ru to take care of Zhao Shuye. But she refused them. In the car, Jiao Wentong expressed her worries. Haoshan, big sister seems to be rather guarded against us now. Lu Qinian sighed. Well, take it slow. Jiao Wentong was anxious. How could he not be? But what could be done in haste? With that, Lu Qinian added, in the future, let's come here every day. I refuse to believe Zhao Shuye's heart is made of stone. It will warm up eventually. Chapter 952. A heartless and ungrateful wretch. _5. Wentong nodded. Lu Ru frowned and said, Mom is really getting senile even though we're her real family, yet she favors N.I. Yang so much. I spent the whole day talking to her and she didn't even give me a single strand of her hair. And to think she gave our family heirloom to N.I. Yang. Wentong patted Lu Ru on the hand. Xiaoru, don't worry, Mom and Dad won't let anyone take your things. Getting the bracelet back was just a matter of time. As the car slowly moved along, Wentong suddenly caught sight of a very familiar figure while passing by a house. Wentong's pupils contracted. Was that Zhao Qing Grandma Zheng? Yes, it was her, no doubt. Why would Grandma Zheng be here? Wentong clenched her fists. Mom, what's wrong? Lu Ru, noticing that Wentong seemed a bit off, asked with concern. Wentong smiled and looked away. Oh, nothing, I just suddenly remembered something about your brother. He's not young anymore and he still doesn't have a girlfriend. Lu Ru laughed. So, Mom wants to hold a grandchild. It's not just your mom, I want to hold a grandchild too, Lu Qinian added. But that's not urgent right now, let's first deal with the matters at hand. Wentong nodded. All the way Wentong was restless. Why was Grandma Zheng here? She hadn't forgotten that Grandma Zheng was the indirect murderer who killed Dr. Jiang and Zheng Lingling. Zheng Xianjing was still in prison, and Wentong had thought about visiting several times, but she couldn't find a proper reason. She had no relation to Xianjing, visiting would only raise suspicions. Yet if she didn't go, she would be restless. After all, Xianjing was the only bloodline Lingling had left in this world. After returning, Wentong had someone investigate Grandma Zheng. The response she got was that Grandma Zheng had moved from the city to her daughter's house in the countryside. Could it be that the house she had just passed was Grandma Zheng's daughter's? Wentong sat in front of the dressing table with her eyebrows tightly furrowed. What's wrong, Wentong? Lu Qinian asked as he came out of the bathroom after his shower. Wentong shook her head. It's nothing, I'm just a bit worried that we might be fooled by N.I. Yang and she might have already gotten her hands on the treasure map before us, especially since she's already been given our family's heirloom bracelet. That shouldn't be the case, Lu Qinian replied. The stuff in that gold mine is worth a fortune. If Ni Yang had already gotten the treasure map, she wouldn't still be living in the countryside, she would have likely moved to the city by now. A place in the countryside with underdeveloped transport and lacking everything, why would Ni Yang stay in the village if she had the means to move? Wentong nodded, that makes sense. Deming Xian. After using the Ice Skin Jade product for 5 straight days, the condition of Du Jiaojiao's skin had improved unbelievably. The acne was gone, the skin was no longer dry, and while it hadn't yet reached the smoothness of a freshly peeled egg, it was no longer peeling like it was before, a night and day difference from her previous skin condition. She believed that if she used it for a few more days, her skin would be radiantly moist. Jiao Jiao looked at herself in the mirror, delighted, and started to ferociously kiss the Ice Skin Jade product's packaging. This was incredible. From now on, she no longer needed to plaster layers of foundation on her face. When Liao visited Jiao Jiao at noon, she was also a little shocked. Jiao Jiao, what skincare product have you been using? Your skin has recovered so quickly and even the acne is gone. And, maybe it was just her imagination, but Liao felt like Jiao Jiao seemed to have become much fairer than before. What skincare product could be this effective? Jiao Jiao smiled and said, it's the Ice Skin Jade product that the beautiful lady gave me. I didn't expect the effects to be this good at first. Liao was somewhat incredulous. Really? The set of domestic skincare that the beautiful lady gave you on your birthday? At that time, the most famous domestic skincare product was the Snowflake Cream from Shanghai, but Snowflake Cream didn't have such effects. The Ice Skin Jade product wasn't even half as famous as Snowflake Cream. Could its effects really be that impressive? Was incredible. Jiao Jiao nodded. Yes, the one from my birthday. Liao remained skeptical. Jiao Jiao, are you sure you haven't used any other skincare products these past few days? I haven't, Jiao Jiao replied. I specifically didn't use anything else to see if the Ice Skin Jade product was really as good as the beautiful lady said, and indeed she was right, it's downright magical. Chapter 953, A Heartless and Ungrateful Wretch. _6. Du Jiaojiao was now regretting not heeding Ni Yang's advice sooner. Bring over that set of skincare products the beauty sent you and let me take a look, Liao continued. Sure thing. Du Jiaojiao quickly ran back to her room and brought over the Ice Muscle Jade Skin set. Liao took the Ice Muscle Jade Skin, studying it carefully. First of all, the aesthetics of these bottles and jars were quite impressive. They looked refreshing and smelled nice. There wasn't any of that irritating odor. You should call the beauty and ask where she bought these. I want to get a set too. Seeing the great results on Du Jiaojiao, it was impossible not to be moved. Liao was a doctor and she could tell that these skincare products didn't contain any of those messy harmful substances. They might actually be useful. But I don't know the Bowtie's home phone number. Just then, Grandfather Du happened to walk in and Liao whispered, maybe you could ask Grandfather Du? Liao felt a kind of inexplicable fear towards Grandfather Du, so she didn't dare to ask him herself. Just as Du Jiaojiao was about to say that Grandfather Du definitely wouldn't know Ni Yang's home number, she swallowed her words and looked up. Third brother, what's the Bowtie's phone number? Beauty? Grandfather Du was taken aback for a moment. Oh, you mean Yang Yang? Du Jiaojiao explained. So it was Ni Yang. The nickname was rather fitting. Do you need her for something? Grandfather Du asked. Du Jiaojiao explained the situation with the Ice Muscle Jade Skin, and then Grandfather Du effortlessly rattled off a string of numbers. Du Jiaojiao was stunned. So Grandfather Du knew Ni Yang's home phone number. That was truly surprising. After getting Ni Yang's number, Du Jiaojiao hurriedly made the call. Beauty, that Ice Muscle Jade Skin you gave me last time is incredibly good. By the way, where is the store that sells Ice Muscle Jade Skin located? Don't mention it, you can find the Ice Muscle Jade Skin store in the department store, but... Ni Yang didn't finish her sentence before Du Jiaojiao interrupted her. Okay, thank you so much, Yang Yang. We're going to buy some now. After the call ended, Du Jiaojiao dragged Liao out the door. Ni Yang looked at the hung-up phone, sighed helplessly. She had wanted to tell Du Jiaojiao that the limited edition Ice Muscle Jade Skin wasn't necessarily available at the department store, but Du Jiaojiao had hung up too quickly. Wanting to prevent Du Jiaojiao from making a fruitless trip, Ni Yang dialed again. The phone was quickly answered. Sister Jiaojiao, you hung up too fast. It's me? A man's voice came through. It was as gentle as the spring breeze. Ni Yang was startled, then realized, is that you, Big Brother Du? Where is Sister Jiaojiao? Grandfather Du glanced toward the door. She's gone out. That fast. And Yang was surprised, then said, "Then please can you pass on a message for me?" Meanwhile, Du Jiaojiao and Li Yao discovered just how precious the ice muscle jade skin set was once they arrived at the actual store. Not only did they need a membership card, but they also had to make a reservation months in advance. Otherwise it was impossible to buy. Each store only had a few dozen sets available each month. Li Yao was extremely disappointed, but luckily the salesperson recommended a few other ice muscle jade skin products that weren't limited editions. On the way back, Li Yao was downcast. With just over 10 days left before she left Beijing, where could she wait for 10 more days? If only there were ice muscle jade skin stores in Xin City. Why were all the good things in Beijing? Du Jiaojiao comforted her. "Don't worry, Li Yao. I'll still be accompanying my third brother here for over half a year. When the time comes I will send it to you." Li Yao replied weakly, "That is if you can get it." Now Du Jiaojiao was at a loss for words and sighed, "I don't know how the beauty managed to get them. She's truly amazing." The two returned to Deming Pavilion, dejected. Grandfather Du sat on the sofa reading Buddhist scriptures, and without looking up when they arrived he asked, "Didn't get it?" "Right." Du Jiaojiao nodded. Grandfather Du then said, "And Yang called right after you left. She told me to tell you that the limited edition ice muscle jade skin set is hard to get, but if you want it she can bring one set for you." "Really?" Du Jiaojiao suddenly got excited. Li Yao's eyes lit up too. Grandfather Du nodded. Du Jiaojiao exclaimed, "The beauty is really a beauty with such wide connections. She can get anything. It looks like I won't have to worry about running out of ice muscle jade skin." Li Yao followed up, "Jiaojiao, I'm going back to Xin City soon. Could you call and ask the beauty if she can bring a few more sets? I'm willing to pay double the price. Such a great product would make a perfect gift. Those wealthy ladies, none of them don't care about beauty. A set of precious skincare products could win over people's hearts." Du Jiaojiao nodded, "Okay, I'll go now." During this time the Lu family practically visited Zhao Shuyu's house every day. But no matter what Lu Qinian said, Zhao Shuyue wouldn't agree to leave Jinghua village, nor would she allow Lu Ru to stay and take care of her. For a while Lu Qinian became anxious and Jiao Wentong was too. Zhao Shuyue was like a stone in a dung pit, stinky and hard, impervious to soft and hard tactics. Lu Qinian sighed deeply, speaking earnestly, "Shuyue, you're also at this age, we have been husband and wife for a lifetime, would I harm you? There's no need for you to be so guarded against me. From the moment you married me you became a member of the Lu family, and after you pass on, you're meant to be laid to rest in our Lu family's ancestral grave." After he finished speaking, Lu Qinian continued, "Shuyue, we are family now, so let's not speak in terms of two households. You can't always rely on outsiders, and I remember our father once said that our ancestors during the Kangxi Emperor's reign secretly buried a stash of gold bars and treasured items, leaving behind a treasure map. Is that map with you now?" "Treasure map?" Zhao Shuyu's brows furrowed slightly as she turned to look at Lu Qinian, incredulous. "You're here for the treasure map?" "No." Lu Qinian shook his head in denial. "Of course not. In your eyes, am I that kind of heartless villain? I'm here to make amends. I'm just curious about the treasure map, I just asked casually. After all, we are family. Is there any secret among family?" Chapter 954, True Colors. Extremely disgusting. Lu Qinian used to be honest and loyal. Otherwise the old master of the Zhao family would not have trusted to take him as his son-in-law. Zhao Shuyu's impression of Lu Qinian remained from 60 years ago. But after 60 years, the handsome and dashing young man had turned into an old man with white hair. Who knew what kind of heart lay hidden beneath his belly? She had changed from Zhao Shuyue to Lu Zhao's wife and then back to Zhao Shuyue. It was a perfect example. Everything was changing, including people's hearts. Upon hearing this she smiled and said, "What treasure map? It's all just rumors, our ancestors never buried any gold." "How could there be none?" Lu Qinian exclaimed in surprise. "I clearly heard our father mention it. Shuyue were family. Are you still hiding it from me?" The ancestors of the Zhao family were originally wealthy landlords. Keeping a batch of gold was very normal, and this fact came from the old master himself. How could it be false? Now Zhao Shuyue obviously did not consider him one of her own. "There really isn't any," Zhao Shuyue retorted. "If there were any gold mines, would I be living such a desolate life?" Lu Qinian choked, knowing that Zhao Shuyue was testing him. He decided not to say any more and simply stated, "Shuyue, wealth and possessions are external things. You can't take it with you when you're born or when you die. I'm just worried about your age now, if something happens one day. Do you intend to take these secrets to the grave?" After saying this, Lu Qinian continued, when I got married into the Zhao family, I became a Zhao family member. I've thought it through. If you agree after I adopt Xiaoru to you and let her take your surname, in any case the Zhao line must not end with us. Xue, what do you think? In Lu Qinian's view, there was no such thing as being married into a family. Zhao Xue married him and should follow him regardless of life or death. Isn't Zhao Xue considered a member of the Lu family? But now Zhao Xue held a treasure map, and if he didn't lower his stance a bit, Zhao Xue would not trust him. With no other choice, he could only painfully allow Xiaoru to change her surname first. Once Zhao Xue took out the treasure map, Zyra's surname, whatever it should be, would still be needed. Zhao Xue was a woman who emerged from an old era. She valued family legacy above everything else. If the Zhao line ended with Zhao Xue, then she would be considered a sinner. Upon hearing this, Zhao Xue's expression changed. Are you really willing to let Xiaoru change her surname? Of course. Lu Qinian nodded. Would Wentong agree to it? Asked Zhao Xue. At this moment, Zhao Xue was somewhat swayed. In her life, she had neither children nor other surviving family members. If Lu Qinian agreed to let Xiaoru change her surname, then after 100 years she could also reconcile with her ancestors. Seeing Zhao Xue like this, Lu Qinian probably had an idea and added, Wentong is a good woman. Since she agreed to adopt Xiaoru to you, she will definitely agree to letting Xiaoru change her surname. Today Jiao Wentong and Xiaoru did not come together. Zhao Xue then said, then you go back and discuss it with Wentong and the others? Alright, Lu Qinian nodded. Then Xue, you just wait for my good news at home. MHM. That night, Lu Qinian went back and discussed the matter with Jiao Wentong. Jiao Wentong understandingly said, Xiaoru is your daughter, you have no objections. What objections could I have? Qinian, you are the head of our family, you decide on these matters. What do I, a mere housewife, know? Jiao Wentong greatly satisfied Lu Qinian's male pride. Wentong, you really are understanding. Lu Qinian put his arm around Jiao Wentong's shoulders. Luckily heavens let me meet you. Zhao Xue is just a rock in a privy pit. He and Zhao Xue were married, and her things should naturally belong to him. Yet Zhao Xue insisted on using the treasure map to trouble him. Adopting Xiaoru to her was not enough. She even wanted Xiaoru to change her surname. Having sighed in relief, Lu Qinian also harbored resentment. Why should his daughter take Zhao Xue's surname? Jiao Wentong continued, so will our Xiaoru be named Zhao from now on? Impossible. Lu Qinian flatly denied, Xiaoru is my daughter. The Zhao family is doomed to end. Once we get the treasure map, Xiaoru will immediately change her surname back. Chapter 955, True Colors. Extremely disgusting. _2. Jiao Wentong nodded, let's go and discuss this matter with Xiaoru. Okay. The two headed to Lu Ru's room where she was applying nail polish. I don't mind changing my last name. I'm already a Zhao, so shouldn't the Zhao family's heirloom be inherited by me? Lu Ru adored that bracelet ever since she first saw it. That bracelet was made of top-grade turquoise, warm in winter and cool in summer, and it could ward off evil spirits. And it had been passed down since the Song dynasty. Precious indeed. And Ai Yang was just a mere village girl. How could she possibly be worthy of it? Only someone of her noble status deserves such a treasure. Hearing this, Jiao Wentong looked up at Lu Qinian. Lu Qinian smiled and said, since it's a family heirloom, naturally it should be inherited by the rightful heir. Tomorrow let's go to Jinghua village and you can tell her in person. If Zhao Xue wanted Lu Ru to change her surname, she naturally had to show some sincerity. Besides, that bracelet was originally their family's heirloom. Okay, Lu Ru nodded. The next morning upon hearing this news, Lu Qi asked somewhat uncertainly, Mom, Dad, are you really agreeing to let Xiaoru change her surname? Lu Qi was still in the dark about the treasure map. He always thought that Lu Qinian truly felt guilty towards Zhao Xue, and that's why he wanted to make it up to her. Lu Ru was the daughter treasured by her parents, and Lu Qi always felt something was unrealistic about this situation. Lu Qinian nodded, yes, when I was young I wronged your aunt. It's only right that I treat her better now. Her only regret now is that she doesn't have children, and she's already of such an age. I don't want her to live with that regret. Lu Qinian's words were noble and impressive. As a father, of course, he had to set a good example for his son. Lu Qi was different from Lu Ru. Lu Qi had too strong a sense of justice and was too honest. He spoke and acted without considering the consequences, and would confront anyone he believed to be wrong, regardless of their status. A typical case of high IQ but low emotional intelligence, inept at socializing. If he knew that all this was for Zhao Shiyu's gold mine, he might not even acknowledge his own father. Thus, Lu Qinian couldn't let Lu Qi know the inside story. He had to continue portraying the image of a good father, a good man, a good husband in front of Lu Qi. Lu Qi nodded. Dad, Aunt has suffered all her life. It's only right for you to treat her better. By the way, didn't you say last time that you wanted to bring her to live with us? Lu Qinian sighed helplessly. Your aunt doesn't want to come. She's still holding a grudge. Lu Qi took a sip of water from his cup. After all, Aunt has been waiting for you for over 60 years. Anyone would feel resentful. People like my aunt are rare nowadays. Don't rush, some things take time. In today's society, how many women would wait for a man for a whole 60 years without marrying anyone else? It's simply impossible. One can hardly imagine what Zhao Shuyue has endured over these 60 years. Although Zhao Shuyue is a woman, she values loyalty more than most men do. So Lu Qi truly admires Zhao Shuyue. Lu Qinian patted Lu Qi's shoulder. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Lu Qi nodded. In the afternoon, Lu Qinian, Jiao Wentong, and Lu Ru went to Jinghua village together. Lu Ru held a wrapped package in her hand. Aunt, I made these pastries myself, please have a taste. Xiaoru, it's thoughtful of you. Zhao Shuyue took the package, pulled out a piece of osmanthus cake and tasted it. Xiaoru, your cooking is really good. The osmanthus cake was indeed soft, glutinous and sweet. Someone like Lu Ru, a delicate young lady who hardly dips her fingers in spring water, wouldn't know how to make osmanthus cake. It was bought on the way. Lu Ru humbly said, it's not as good as you say, Aunt. As long as you like it, that's all that matters. After eating a piece of osmanthus cake, Zhao Shuyue continued, Xiaoru, have your parents already talked to you about that matter? Yes, Lu Ru nodded. What do you think? Zhao Shuyue straightened her expression, not wanting to force Zhao Shuyue into anything uncomfortable. Lu Ru smiled. Aunt, I've said before, I will treat you like my own mother. Whether my last name is Lu or Zhao, it makes no difference to me, it's all up to you to decide. Chapter 956, True Colors. Extremely disgusting. _3. Okay, Zhao Shuyue nodded, musing inwardly that Lu Ru indeed was a sensible child. Lu Qinian seized the moment. Then let's take care of this matter early. Shuyue, where is your household registration book? Wentong gave Lu Ru a cue with his eyes. Lu Ru continued, but Big Aunt, I have a small request. Speak. Zhao Shuyue looked at Lu Ru. Lu Ru proceeded, Big Aunt, once I become your daughter, shouldn't you pass the family heirloom to me? It makes no sense to give the heirloom to a stranger. In any case, N.I. Yang had no qualifications or reason to take that bracelet. Family heirloom? Zhao Shuyue was initially stunned, then realized that Lu Ru was here for the bracelet. You mean that bracelet? Zhao Shuyue asked with a smile. Yes. Lu Ru hurriedly nodded. That bracelet, Big Aunt, it's our family's heirloom. It should never fall into the hands of outsiders. Zhao Shuyue nodded. Okay, I'll give it to you. A stranger indeed has no right to my bracelet. Speaking of which, there's also the treasure map. She paused deliberately at this point. Hearing the words treasure map, Lu Qinian's eyes lit up with excitement. He had always known the treasure map existed. Wenong was also very excited. He'll give you the treasure map too, Zhao Shuyue continued. I'm old anyway and I can't take these things with me. Are you serious? You'll really give Xiaoru the treasure map? Lu Qinian asked impatiently. Zhao Shuyue nodded. He'll give it. Xiaoru is my only daughter after all. Who else would I give it to? Wenong could hardly believe it. Big sister, are you joking? This cunning old woman, she's finally come around? It felt somewhat surreal. Zhao Shuyue said with a smile, we're all family here. As the saying goes, keep the goodies within the family. If I don't leave it to Xiaoru, who else would I leave it to? I certainly can't take it with me when I die and be buried with it. Oh Shuyue, it's great that you see it that way, Lu Qinian eagerly said. By the way, where is the treasure map? Since you're going to give it to Xiaoru eventually, why not bring it out now? Treasure map. Finally, they could get their hands on the treasure map, making their whole trek from Bay Island to Beijing worthwhile. Yes, Big Aunt, please bring it out now so I can experience it for myself. Lu Ru was too excited, not believing how easily she had managed to persuade Zhao Shuyue. This crafty old lady wasn't as clever as she had imagined. Zhao Shuyue said with a smile, okay, don't hurry, I'll go fetch it. With these words, Zhao Shuyue turned and walked towards the inner room. Lu Ru stood up. Big Aunt, let me come with you. Wentong interjected, you child, why still call her Big Aunt? You should be calling her Mom now. Yes, Mom, let me come with you, Lu Ru immediately corrected herself. No need, Zhao Shuiwa turned her head, just wait here for me. Lu Ru sat back down and whispered, Dad, can we return to Bay Island once we get the treasure map? Yes, Lu Qinian nodded. Wentong said with a smile, what about that bracelet? Don't you want it anymore? Lu Ru replied, of course I do. Once that old lady brings out the treasure map, he'll have her take me to Anyang to get the bracelet back. Wentong nodded. In a few moments, Zhao Shuiwe, with both hands behind her back, emerged from the inner room. Lu Qinian suppressed his excitement. Shuiwe, you're here? Where's the treasure map? Don't rush, I've got it. Zhao Shuiwe walked over with a smile, her right hand moving leisurely from behind. Lu Qinian was transfixed, his gaze unblinkingly fixed on Zhao Shiyu's hand. It was the treasure map. It had to be the treasure map in Zhao Shiyu's hand. He had finally seen the treasure map. Soon he would possess a vast fortune. Lu Qinian was overwhelmed with excitement, his heart pounding wildly. Beside him, Wentong and Lu Ru also watched Zhao Shuiwe intently. Just then, bang! A flash of cold light, and a cleaver slammed down hard on the table. The room fell eerily silent in an instant. None of the three present had expected that Zhao Shuiwe would be holding a cleaver. Zhao Shuiwe, putting all her strength into it, forcefully chopped the cleaver down on the table, her cold eyes fixed on the family of three across from her. Chapter 957, True Colors. Extremely disgusting. _4. Lu Qinian's face subtly changed and a sudden ominous feeling rose in his heart, his mouth twitching into a stiff smile. Shuiwe, what kind of joke is this? Why bring out a knife all of a sudden? Jiao Wentong quickly caught on, smiling as he tried to smooth things over. Exactly, big sister, what kind of joke is this? Lu Qinian, do you really think I, Zhao Shuiwe, am a fool? Zhao Shuiwe looked at Lu Qinian. You and your family can get out. Get out right now. Since Lu Qinian spoke of the treasure map yesterday, Zhao Shuiwe knew he hadn't come to Beijing out of any remorse. From beginning to end it was all for that gold mine. If it wasn't for that gold mine, Lu Qinian probably wouldn't even remember her name. Zhao Shuiwe was no fool. To see this family's true colors, she had played along with them, only to find they indeed came for the treasure map. What utter shamelessness. Her 60 years of waiting, watching over mere ingrates. It was almost laughable. Shuiwe, you must be misunderstanding something? Lu Qinian tried to calm himself. I can explain. What actually is going on with this Zhao Shuiwe? How could her demeanor change so suddenly? She was nothing like the understanding Zhao family's fourth miss from back then. No need for explanations. Just leave. Zhao Shuiwe picked up the kitchen knife, pointing it towards the door. Lu Ru swallowed hard. Mom, please calm down. Zhao Shuiwe turned to look at Lu Ru. You should look at yourself in the mirror. With what weight do you claim to be my daughter, Zhao Shuiwe? At a time like this, Lu Ru dared to shamelessly call her mother. It was truly the craftsmanship of Lu Qinian's nurturing. How had she failed to see their true nature earlier? Big sister, Jiao Wentong spoke up. Zhao Shuiwe looked at Jiao Wentong. I have 3 older brothers and 1 younger brother. Since when did I get a younger sister? Jiao Wentong, what right do you have to call me big sister? Jiao Wentong turned pale. Zhao Shuiwe, what exactly do you want? Wentong genuinely cares for you, don't be so ungrateful. Lu Qinian erupted with anger. If it were another woman, who else could compare to Jiao Wentong's magnanimity in voluntarily addressing Zhao Shuiwe as a big sister? Zhao Shuiwe was truly pushing her luck. She truly knew nothing of gratitude. Enduring the insults hurled at Jiao Wentong by Zhao Shuiwe was something Lu Qinian couldn't tolerate, nor did he wish to see Jiao Wentong humiliated in front of Zhao Shuiwe any longer. Ungrateful was she? Hearing this, Zhao Shuiwe wore a self-mocking expression, pointing towards the door. Get out. Get out of my sight this instant. Lu Qinian, let me be honest with you. Our family ancestors indeed hid a stash of gold, not just gold but also many precious silks and exotic treasures. The treasure map is here with me, but you will never lay your hands on this map. I'd rather burn it, throw it away or feed it to stray dogs than let a villain like you have it. Lu Qinian wanted that treasure map, didn't he? She would let him taste the torment of desire unfulfilled. Hearing this, Lu Qinian felt terrible. He had known that Zhao Shuiwe definitely possessed the treasure map. That damned old hag. She was doing this on purpose. She had purposely set a trap for him. She had purposely made him suffer. And to think she didn't care at all about their past affection as husband and wife. Lu Qinian wanted to rage, but faced with the treasure map, he had no choice but to suppress his anger. Shuiwe, I'm sorry. I was wrong just now, My words were reckless, unintended. Wentong is a good woman, please don't speak like this about her. Jiao Wentong immediately cried out, Big sister, I've already told you if you're bothered by me I can divorce Haoshan. I don't want anything, I just want you two to be happy. The couple played their roles well, almost convincingly. If it had been before, Zhao Shuyue might have believed them. But now, not anymore. Lu Qinian continued, there's a saying, a day of marriage endures 100 days of grace. Shuyue, we were a loving couple for 2 years after all. I genuinely want to make it up to you to adopt Xiaoru as your daughter. Don't you hold any affection for our past at all? Lu Qinian was 2 years older than Zhao Shuyue. She was 16 when they married, and they separated when Zhao Shuyue was 18. Zhao Shuyue and Lu Qinian had grown up together, childhood sweethearts, innocent and carefree. Chapter 958, True Colors. Extremely disgusting. _5. What a pity it could never go back to how it was. Now, the person before her eyes was no longer the bedfellow of the past. Now, when mentioning the past, Zhao Shuyue could only feel irony and ridicule. Don't bring up the past with me, Lu Qinian. You don't deserve it. My father was blind to save you from the snow all those years ago. Old Master Zhao should have let Lu Qinian freeze to death in the snow back then. Shuyue, Lu Qinian sighed, his expression one of pain and helplessness. I wronged you in the past, what do I have to do for you to forgive me? Get lost. Get out of here now. Zhao Shuyue tightened her grip on the kitchen knife in her hand. If you don't get lost, watch out, I won't be polite. Lu Qinian, I'm staking everything today. I'm ready to fight you with my life. Zhao Shuyue was serious and Lu Qinian narrowed his eyes before saying, all right, we're leaving. Shuyue, don't get agitated, don't get angry, it's bad for your health. In this situation, one mustn't act recklessly, one needed to think of a foolproof plan. With those words, Lu Qinian left with Jiao Wentong and Lu Ru. Unfortunately, when it rains, it pours. The car stopped working just as they reached the entrance of the village. Lu Qinian got out to check. It seems like the engine has stalled due to carbon buildup. Jiao Wentong got out of the car as well. Can we start it again? Lu Qinian shook his head. What should we do then? Jiao Wentong was a little anxious. Lu Qinian continued, first let's make a phone call, have someone come over to fix it. On the way here, I saw telephone poles by the road, surely someone in the village must have a phone at home. In those days, not many families had a phone installed, and finding out which home had a phone was simple, just follow the telephone poles. Naturally, it was up to the women to knock on doors, so Jiao Wentong went to a house with a telephone to knock. The door opened quickly. The door was opened by a beautiful young woman in her 30s or 40s, with a strangely familiar feeling to her. Jiao Wentong squinted her eyes and smiled. Miss, may I use your phone please? As Jiao Wentong felt the familiarity, and Ai Tsuehua also felt that Jiao Wentong looked familiar. Who is this? Why did she feel like she had seen her somewhere before? And Ai Tsuehua hesitated for a moment, then said, come in. Thank you, Jiao Wentong expressed her gratitude. Once inside the courtyard, Jiao Wentong was taken aback, not expecting a seemingly ordinary rural courtyard to hide such wonder. There was a telephone in the living room. Go ahead. Jiao Wentong thanked her again, picked up the phone, and as she lifted the receiver, her light red sleeve slid down her wrist due to her movement, revealing a brown scar on her fair skin as if bitten by something. And Ai Tsuehua frowned slightly, feeling a headache at the back of her head. Why did she find this scar so strange? It didn't take long for Jiao Wentong to make the call. Miss, thank you so much, how much is the phone bill? I'll pay you. And Ai Tsuehua smiled and said, everyone faces difficulties away from home, you didn't even make a minute's call, there's no need to pay. Is there a guest at home? Old Lady Zheng came in with little Ni Yun from the outside. And Ai Tsuehua said, this elder sister's car broke down at the entrance of our village, so she came to use our phone. Old Lady Zheng nodded, I see. But looking up, she found the person strangely familiar. Is this a young version of Dr. Jiang? Old Lady Zheng was stunned. Jiao Wentong was also shocked. She hadn't expected to accidentally stumble into Old Lady Zheng's home. Could this person be Old Lady Zheng's daughter from the countryside? No wonder she always felt Ai Tsuehua was so familiar. Jiao Wentong didn't want to stay any longer, suppressing the panic in her heart, she smiled and said, Miss, thank you. My husband and child are still waiting for me there, so I'd better leave now. All right, and Ai Tsuehua nodded. After Jiao Wentong left, Old Lady Zheng said, Ting Ting, don't you think that young lady looks especially like someone? And Ai Tsuehua replied, I also think she looks very familiar, just can't place where I've seen her. Old Lady Zheng continued, she looks like Dr. Jiang. With that said, it suddenly dawned on Nai Tsuehua. Right. Mom, you're right, she does indeed look like Dr. Jiang. Even the eyes are exactly the same. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.